It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: parents meet with administrators at Buckinghamshire School. Man released without charge after anti-terror arrest in Luton. And missing Hemel Hempstead woman found safe and well.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parents fighting the closure of a special school in Buckinghamshire tomorrow met with administrators last night in an 11th hour bid to save it. They were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over Penn School near High Wycombe. A critical Ofsted report 2 years ago meant councils stopped sending pupils there, but the MP for High Wycombe, Steve Baker, says even Ofsted admitted it had a special atmosphere.
The special atmosphere at Penn School is not in doubt. Even in the Ofsted report, which put it into special measures, it was recognised that levels of nurture and kindness towards the students were extremely high, and that was an area identified as being good.
A man in his 30s arrested at a residential address in Luton last Tuesday on suspicion of terrorism offences has been released without charge. A man in his 20s held at another residential address in the town, and a man in his 20s arrested at a business address in Letchworth remain in custody. A 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire. Michelle Higgins was suffering from postnatal depression when she disappeared last Wednesday. Hertfordshire police say she was found yesterday afternoon. Nearly 50 Labour MPs have defied the party's acting leader Harriet Harman and voted against the government's welfare bill. The legislation, which includes lowering the cap on total household benefits and restrictions on child tax credits, cleared its first parliamentary hurdle with a majority of 184. From Westminster, Eleanor Garnier.
The left-wing leadership contender Jeremy Corbyn led the move among Labour MPs to ignore the calls from the party's interim leader Harriet Harman to abstain in the vote. 18 of Labour's 53 new MPs rebelled, joined by familiar names such as Diane Abbott and Helen Goodman, who called the measures regressive and obnoxious. But to the relief of those in senior Labour circles, no shadow ministers joined the revolt.
Inspectors have told the police force at the centre of the Rotherham child exploitation scandal that it still needs to make major improvements to some of its child protection procedures. Serious concerns were raised last year about South Yorkshire Police. A new review of 28 cases found a quarter had been handled inadequately. A cat has died after being shot with a pellet gun in Milton Keynes. It's thought the cat was shot near Downhead Park on the 9th of July. Police have issued an appeal for information after a vet found the pellet when the owners took the animal for an examination. Firefighters have been at the scene of a blaze in a field near Hitchin overnight. Crews were first called to Purton Road in Holwell just before 3 p.m. yesterday with around 40 tonnes of hay alight. In sport, the American Zach Johnson has won the Open Golf in a 3-way playoff at St Andrews, and Milton Keynes Dons manager Carl Robinson and his assistant Richie Barker have signed new contracts at Stadium MK. The weather dry and sunny, maximum temperature 23 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Lies, you're telling me that you'll be true. Lies, that's all I ever get from you. Tears, I shed a million tears for you. Tears, and now you're loving someone new. Someday I'm gonna be happy, but I don't know when just now. Lies, breaking my heart. You think that you're such a smart girl, and I'll believe what you say. But who do you think you are, girl, to lead me on this way? Hey, lies, I can't believe a word you say. Lies are gonna make you sad someday. Someday you're gonna be lonely, but you won't find me around. Lies
Morning, blah, 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 blah. Here we go, done.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll tell you why, because I want to do a show one day. I can't be bothered. I want to do a show. I won't do a show where I play songs that are just ripping off the Beatles. That was the Knickerbockers, one-hit wonders. And they sounded like the band in that Tom Hanks film.
Yes.
That Thing You Do.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, That Thing You Do.
He's never seen it.
Never seen it, guys.
You'd love that film.
I know, but it sounds fantastic.
It's basically they're one-hit wonders, and they got a song that sounds like the Beatles. It's a good song.
Yeah.
What's the song? They did it. What's the?
Every time you do that thing you do.
Can we
Every
dig that
time
out?
you do. It's really, it's Beatles-esque.
Dig that out. We'll have that next, because that's a good song and it's a good film, mate.
Yeah.
Did Hanks direct it?
Probably.
He's so bloody good.
Because he plays an old fella in it, doesn't he? He's
have
like
you
the manager.
seen him in? I tell you what, film Hanks is brilliant in.
Big.
He's good in.
Still
Big.
makes me think today.
Do you know what it makes me think? You couldn't make that today. Because she...
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
having sex with a child in a man's body.
And he comes out of the lift all happy the next morning, doesn't he?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you, the film I was thinking of,
She should be in prison.
Bachelor Party.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
mate,
that.
they couldn't make that because what they do with the donkey in that film, it's about a bachelor party. It's pretty big, I think.
What, with a donkey?
Mate, there is a. Can someone 03459 455 555? What's the scene in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks and a donkey?
Tom Hanks is in this.
It's a Tom Hanks film.
Tom wouldn't do that to a donkey.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I didn't just randomly throw a film out there that I
I
like.
just thought it was on the theme of things you can't do today that you could do before.
I'm not doing some nonsense phoning. Whereas if you could hire a cinema for your birthday, what film would you show? That would be.
To be fair, that is quite a good phone-in.
Sorry.
Yeah, I like that one.
If you
Yeah.
could hire
Back
a
to the
cinema-
Future.
No,
Anniversary, 30th recently. Everyone in the mood for it. Ghostbusters?
My wife did this for me once. She hired for a birthday, for a birthday surprise. She said, "Turn up at this place," and I turned up, and they had a private cinema in this hotel, and loads of friends were there. And she had a selection of my favourite films. She said, "Pick a film." The pressure was on. I couldn't pick the Monkeys film. I certainly couldn't pick Bruce Lee, although I'd love to. I chose Ferris Bueller.
You're picking for everyone else,
I was
aren't you?
picking for everyone else.
Yeah.
I chose Ferris Bueller.
Selfish of them.
Yeah, rude.
Great idea.
Thanks.
Fantastic
Well,
present.
I'll let her know.
Yeah, please do.
I'm going to. We're going to. We should probably do this story, should we?
Well, it's up to you, boss. We can do, or we can talk about donkeys.
Just give me 2 seconds to think. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, I've got the. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I'm going to fix this. User friendly. Just do that again. Just give me 2 seconds to think.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka.
We'll do the story.
Okay.
While we look for that song. Right. Big story we've been talking about all week. And boy, oh boy, stick around for an interview with the local MP at 7 o'clock. You won't want to miss Steve Baker. Just over a week ago, parents of 50 deaf and autistic children were told that Penn's school had gone into administration. The deadline to save it, well, it was tomorrow, although there may be some shifting on that. Since then, they've been trying to crowdsource £1 million to make sure it's still open in September. They've also had a series of crisis meetings, the latest of which was last night. Justin, you went to that crisis meeting, didn't you?
Yes, the school due to close tomorrow. I managed to attend this meeting with the parents and the administrator. A lot of people were refused entry last night. However, the parents wanted us there to hear what was going on. And I was never challenged. I simply walked into the school with the parents and sat through the meeting, which lasted 2 hours. Very, very uncomfortable. A lot of people very upset, as you can imagine. However,
You should have taken a cushion.
Here's the good news. The administrator said last night to the parents that they'd contacted 14 potential buyers.
Okay.
Of those, 5 are interested. So this is good news.
And interested in maintaining it as a school,
Absolutely.
not just in the land and the property.
No, not
Okay.
in the land and the property. These are people who deal with schools like this. So this is fantastic news. So although the school closes for the summer tomorrow, the new deadline for buyers is the 31st of July. So there is still hope.
There's a little bit more breathing space.
A little bit more. Some of those have been on site already. The administrator also revealed there will be a conduct review into the trustees. None of the trustees have spoken to you or me or anybody at the radio
What was the
station.
name of the gentleman I called yesterday?
Hugh, wasn't it?
Hugh, did Hugh call back? He was the head of the trustees. Did Hugh call back?
No
So I left
call
a
from
message.
Hugh.
No call from Hugh. Okay, that's disappointing.
So Hugh didn't want to talk, obviously. The trustees, again, weren't there last night. Parents angry. However, there will now be a
I'll be
conduct...
honest, that's pretty shocking, actually. That's pretty shocking that the trustees couldn't be bothered, or maybe were too busy to turn up. That's a bit low.
It's what all the parents have been saying, that they were furious about this. However, there will now be a conduct review into the trustees. The administrator said last night they're going to be looking in to see whether any payments have been made to the trustees. Now, that's not to say they've done anything wrong, but that will be going on, and it could take up to 6 months. So I managed to get into that meeting. Afterwards, I spoke to one of the parents, and we put the question to her. Obviously, this is a horrible time for her, but also she spoke to me about what sort of effect this is having on her child as well.
My child has only just started to come to terms with the fact that he will not be going there in September. It's taken him nearly 2 weeks to understand that the school is closing. He doesn't understand the surroundings after that, what it means with friends, etc., things like that. All he keeps asking me is, where am I going in September? And as a parent, I can't tell him that because I don't know myself. It has caused great stress on him. He is pacing up and down in his bedroom with such intensity, and it's just absolutely upsetting to hear it, because there is nothing I can do for him to help him through this time at the moment.
These last 2 weeks, have they been the worst 2 weeks of your life?
They have. They've been very, very stressful. Not only seeing my child in feeling the way he is, it's put so much stress and pressure on parents to do the right thing for our children. We feel pressured to make a decision where to send our children, even though we know that they're not going to be appropriate places. And we just feel like we're lost at the moment as parents. We just don't know what to do for our children, which is a horrible thing because we are meant to be the ones who protect them.
OK, just lastly, we heard about 5 interested parties this evening. So you're coming away from this meeting with at least some form of hope. I've not heard that before, about 5 interested parties, so you must be coming away quite hopeful.
You have to remain optimistic, but it is a big ask of any organisation to do what they need to do in that short space of time to set a school up for our children by September. So obviously we are still very uncertain as to what is going to happen with all of our children.
I mean, it's bad enough, I'm trying not to use really clunky language. It's bad enough for any parent being unsure of what school their kids are going to go to in the next term. Yeah. But these kids have got such specific needs, such extra requirements because of their disabilities. It's even more, and there are fewer places that can cater for these kids.
Absolutely. You're going to be talking to Caroline, another parent, after 8 o'clock. Now, yesterday, she went to the nearest school, which she thinks would be suitable for her child. That's in Nottingham. She left that school in tears yesterday because that school is not for her child. Yeah. Not knowing where your child is going to be going in September, given such short notice, of course. They currently, by the way, at Penn have 77 students. Right. The numbers for September were 50. So that's why they're going into administration, because of a poor Ofsted report. Numbers were dwindling, 50 due in September. However, numbers have been as low, and this came up in a meeting last night, as 24 in the past. That was put to the head teacher. The head teacher said, for years we have been struggling, and right now this is why we've hit the crisis point. This is why we're in administration. The numbers were low again with everything else, and that's why the school is facing these problems.
Bucks County Council don't want to come on. They say because it's a private school, it's nothing to do with them. But they do have a duty of care to find school places for those kids.
Yeah, again, they don't want to come on. They say their only involvement in this is to ensure that the 14 pupils that they've placed at Penn School are found a suitable alternative. Now, last night, again, a lot of people raising questions about the council because we're talking about people going to school here in September. We're not talking about 6 months' notice. Yeah. This has got to be sorted out very, very quickly.
Justin, well done for going in. My voice broke then because I was nervous talking to you. Well done for going in, mate. Nice one.
No worries, mate.
Do listen after 7 o'clock. I recorded an interview yesterday with Steve Baker, the MP for High Wycombe, isn't it? Who was reluctant. We've been chasing him for a while. He was reluctant to come on because he didn't like some of our tweets. He came on. I think, Catherine, it would be fair to say one of the most awkward interviews I've ever done.
Yeah. Brilliant.
One of the most awkward interviews
He's
ever.
a local MP. The school is going to be closing tomorrow, and he's on your show today.
Yeah. It's well worth listening. Justin, thank you for that, mate. Excellent stuff.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting to build up on the North Circular going west between the M1 at the Staples Cornwall flyover and Brentfield Road, the turn for IKEA and Wembley. In High Wycombe on the A40 you'll find some temporary traffic lights for the roadworks at Bradenham Road on the roundabout, likely to cause some delays. Also some hold-ups possible in St Albans on London Road. There's gas main work still at the junction with Marlborough Road. No problems on the trains. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. Right, 6:16. It is Tuesday, the 21st of July. Summer's almost over. Yeah! I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wycombe met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. And a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire.
Every weekday from 3.
The East of England Ambulance Service are urging us to stay safe in the heat and take sensible precautions. Barry is in Bedford. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Rob. Right, I've got a little story about bad breath, and it's quite embarrassing, really, but I do...
Don't be embarrassed.
Roberto Peroni.
Yeah, we kiss them and cuddle them.
Oh, no, you don't kiss an animal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So you've started an online petition to raise money to pay the Greek debt?
That's right. I was fed up with politicians going round in circles, and I thought, you know what, let's just crack on and let's see if we can do something here.
Roberto Peroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Shut up. Listen up. Listen. Shut up. Listen up. Listen up. Listen up. Listen up.
恋はバラク くじけそうなシチュエーション Sometimes 諦めかけてしまうのさきっと出会ったことはクリボリューション退屈な日をそう変えたのさ彼女はテンテーションgirl抱きしめたいのさ In my arms いつでもテンテーションgirl 手の届かないビーナス Oh no Oh no Oh no とても空間全部本にはわからないさ道化師のようなこんな気持ちは僕は他の前にひざまずくそうじゃまるで出口がつかめないのさ彼女はテンテーション girl 手に入れたいのさ In my heart いつでもテンテーション girl 思い通りにいかない Oh no Oh no Oh no もしも君が信じるなら自由なの恋はバラくじけそうなシチュエーションだけどいつかものにしてみせる彼女はテンテーション girl 抱きしめたいのさ In my arms いつでもテンテーション girl Many many times I hold you in my dream Oh no Oh no Oh no Oh no Oh no Oh no
Hang on, I'm being smooth. Yes.
This is Iain Lee
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a theme for the show this morning, bands that ripped off the Beatles and did it shamelessly. So far, we've had The Wonders. That film is good. I mean, it's rubbish, but it's good rubbish.
Yeah.
I might have a bit of that if I can find a way to download it. For illegally?
Yes. Did you say illegally?
No.
You say illegally?
I said if I can find a legal way to do it. If I can find a legal way to do it. The Box, the Japanese Beatles, of course, and whoever the first one was. Forgotten.
Knickerbockers.
The Knickerbockers.
What about Oasis? I mean, how do you choose one?
No, I want like early Beatles rip-offs.
Right.
For example, what the heck? Let's have this. It doesn't get much more ripply-offy-ish than the Ruttles.
I'm not the kind of guy who likes to play Big Brother, but I've just seen your date outside. He's with another. I saw you both come in, and clearly you're not meant for him. So please, please hold my hand. Hold my hand, yeah, yeah. Hold my hand, yeah, yeah. Hold my hand, and I'll see you home. I want to tell you I'm in love with you completely. I'd like to take you far away from here discreetly. Our love was meant to be, and darling, it's a certainty. Oh, please, please hold my hand. Hold my hand, yeah, yeah. Hold my hand, yeah, yeah. Hold my hand, and I'll see you home. Hold my hand, yeah, yeah.
could just sit here and play the whole Ruttles album. Oh, God, they're good. We never did get Neil Innes on the show, did we? We have to get Neil Innes on the show to explain those bad boys. 3 songs in a row. That's your 3 at 6. That's your 6 divided by 2 equals 3 at 6.
Don't start doing maths on me at this time.
I love radio maths. I've got the papers over there, but they arrived late, so I've not looked. So I tell you what we're going to do. I've kind of come up with an idea for a game, but I don't quite know how it works. Okay.
Excellent.
Oh, hang on, I've still got the delay on. That's going to really screw that up. Hang on a second, let's try it. Right, so I got the Game of Thrones player.
What's it called?
I was playing it in my head, but it doesn't really work. It's called The Weak Link of the Chain.
Well, because for copyright reasons you can't call it the weakest link.
No, it's okay. So, basically, what you do is you name the weak link. You name you name the weakest person in a band. The weak link in the chain. The song is kind
What are you
of.
looking at me for when you're saying this?
Well, for example, Fleetwood Mac. The weak link in the chain is Stevie Nicks. Yes, come on. Controversial. The weak link in Fleetwood Mac is Stevie Nicks. No. Her songs compared to the others are rubbish, and you can't say Fleetwood or Mac because you can't,
because you could just get another drummer.
Okay, so then the band's called Mac.
Still call it that.
Who's going to go and see a band called the Mac? Oh, no, it might work.
I'd get rid of Mac.
So Fleetwood.
Well, don't say that because he's not very well.
Don't do the curse. Please don't do the curse. I don't think the curse works in this studio.
It did work. Who did we curse the other day?
Who did we kill?
I think we killed someone the other day.
Okay. So weak link of Fleetwood Mac is hang on a second. The weak link of the chain. Not really.
Because they did it without Christine.
Huh?
They did it without.
They did it without Lindsay as well.
But it's good with Chrissy.
She's one of the strong links.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stevie Nicks is one of the weak links.
She did all the songs.
No, you can't
the
say
good
that
ones.
about Stevie.
Right, you pick a band and you do one, Catherine.
All right, easy. Take that.
Yeah. Oh.
Everyone apart from everyone.
You can only. Who's the weak link in the chain?
Well, it was Jason Orange.
Hang on a second. There we go. Go.
It was Jason Orange. Now it's clearly Howard. No, Mark.
Mark is not the weak link, mate.
He's
Mark is not the weak link. Who's going to sing, Babe, I'm back again?
That's Howard.
He sings Babe, is Mark.
Yeah. That's not Mark's voice you were doing. You were doing Howard's voice.
Babe, I'm back again. They've both got speech defects. I'm not making fun of it. It's a fact.
Spice Girls.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Go. Here we go.
How'd you pick one?
No. Go on.
Jerry.
Completely. She's got the game. Right. Okay. My turn. Beatles. Lennon.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Stop it. What are you doing?
Ringo in it.
What?
Ringo.
Oh, Ringo. No, because Ringo, all those songs we've heard, the thing they've ripped off the most is Ringo's backbeat.
No, but you can't say Lennon because the fighting...
I'm saying Lennon.
The fighting is what made them work.
Lennon songs, there are a couple of good ones. Struggling to think of any. I mean, he couldn't sing.
Yeah,
we
but
know
Paul
that.
was only writing to annoy John.
Exactly.
So if he wasn't there, he had no one to annoy.
Imagine if he didn't have to annoy John. Imagine the songs he would create. We don't need to imagine it. They exist. They're called Wings.
But imagine, though.
Imagine is rubbish. It's a nursery rhyme for stoners and drug addicts. More of this
That's why we
after
love
this.
It so much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Building up in a few places on the North Circular, it's queuing going west between Staples Corner, the M1, and Brentfield Road, the turn for IKEA and Wembley. In Finchley, it's queuing going west into Henley's Corner. In Watford, Hagden Lane, you'll find some electricity work there around Vicarage Road, approaching the football stadium. No problems to report on the trains. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. A second man arrested in Luton and a man arrested in Letchworth remain in custody. And a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire. Michelle Higgins was suffering from postnatal depression when she disappeared last Wednesday.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The American Zach Johnson won the Open Golf after a 3-way playoff at St Andrews. He finished a shot ahead of the South African Louis Oosthuizen and 3 ahead of Australian Mark Leishman over 4 extra holes.
It means a great deal, as it should. It's a major championship. It's the Open Championship, and it's one of the richest in tradition in sport. So I'm humbled and honoured.
Milton Keynes Dons manager Carl Robinson and his assistant Richie Barker have signed new contracts at Stadium MK. This season will be Robinson's 6th in charge. He's currently English football's 3rd longest serving boss. He made the contract announcement on last night's Monday Night Sport.
It's been a long 5 years, and I believe very successful on and off the pitch as well. I think that you see how far the football club has come to where we were 5 years ago has been quite remarkable, and if the next 5 years are half as exciting as the first 5, I'm sure we're going to be in front of the roller coaster.
Meanwhile, a young Don side lost 2-1 at Chesham last night. The first team squad travelled to Mansfield this evening. Luton won 5-2 at Gosport last night with new signing Josh McCoy scoring twice. Danny Green, Cameron McGeehan with a penalty and Zane Banton were also on target. The Hatters included trialist goalkeeper Denez Mehmet and striker Craig McHale-Smith. Meanwhile, striker Lee Angle has joined Peterborough for an undisclosed fee. The 20-year-old never played for Luton but scored 25 goals on loan at Boreham Wood last season and turned down a new contract at Kenilworth Road. Elsewhere tonight, Wickham go to Wealdstone. Stevenage play 2 45-minute friendlies against local sides in Spain in a 3-way mini-tournament. England's women cricketers begin their defence of the Ashes today with a one-day international against Australia in Taunton, and Chris Froome maintained his lead of over 3 minutes after yesterday's 16th stage of the Tour de France. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, so we're currently we're doing several things here. We're playing songs that ripped off the Beatles, and loads of people have suggested a song that I've never heard of, so we'll play it. I've checked the lyrics. Check the lyrics. Nothing rude. There's nothing rude in it.
How thoroughly have you checked?
Well, I mean, I googled it, but we're also playing this. The weak, it doesn't really fit, but it's the weak link of the chain. We name a band. You can play as well. 03459 455 555. Great to have you back, Kelly.
Thanks, Claire.
And you name the weak link.
Is it my go?
It's your turn. Your turn. Go.
Hearsay.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Noel.
Noel, yeah.
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 No, not Noel. Shrek.
Yeah, what was Shrek's name, though? I
Exactly.
couldn't even remember
The fact you can't...
Danny.
Danny. Noel was kind of the Davy of the band. He was the cheeky little...
He had the eyebrows of Davy.
He did. So, no, I'm not giving you Noel. You've got to think harder, Catherine. Got to work harder. I know you've had some abusive texts coming in, and I'm going to keep sending them. It's the easiest way to get messages to you with this new studio. Kelly Betts, your turn.
Boyzone.
Why are we not doing proper bands, guys?
You can't. I mean, they're all...
Go on.
Keith.
Do you know how to play this game? No, actually, she's right. I was going to say Mikey Graham, but she's
what about
right.
Shane?
No. Keith is the one. Okay.
Okay.
I'm thinking, my turn. Let me think of a...
Oh, I've got a good one.
Let me think of a band. Oh, The Who. Roger Daltrey.
What?
Really weak voice. He's got a weak voice.
Talking about, you were blowing smoke up his jacksie at that award ceremony
I
saying
was
you liked him.
stroking him good and proper at the Sony Awards. I was on a high. A, I'd won an award. B, I'd taken a lot of drugs. I hadn't.
Yeah.
I'd won an award.
I really liked you in The Who.
He's the weak link. He's got a really weak voice. His voice is
You didn't
rubbish.
say that to him, did you?
No, mate.
Wow.
I didn't.
5-star.
Who?
Why are you not doing proper bands?
Delroy.
I don't even know if Delroy... Is Delroy in it, or are you just...
He is. Stedman was the one that looked like Michael Jackson and then got into trouble later on in life. Delroy was the sensible-looking one. Just was just a bloke.
Scott's not got it on Twitter. He's put Stephen Stills in the Buffalo Springfield. Get out of town. The Buffalo Springfield was Stephen Stills. Kelly, your turn.
Oasis.
Here we go.
Oh,
Now we're back
careful
in.
now.
Now we're back in.
Careful.
Yeah.
Liam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you that. She's good. She gets it.
What about Bonehead? You like Bonehead?
Bonehead and Gwigsy.
Yeah.
Gwigsy?
Gwigsy.
Here we go. Controversial. You ready? The Monkees. Davey.
Oh.
Davey was the weak link. The weak link. Yeah.
But you know what he was used for?
Sorry?
He was the bait.
He was the mule.
No.
He was the bait.
He was the bait for the ladies. He
Go
was
on,
the lady
let's
bait.
go on. Steady, Kelly. I'm just going to turn Kelly's mic down. You make all the jokes out loud in there if you want. Your mic's off.
Okay.
Your turn. Go.
All right. Let me have a think. Right.
Oh, by the way, for those of you just tuned in, we're playing this.
Oh, it's so... Okay.
Yeah. Try and do proper bands, not you silly
All right.
boy band bands.
Status quo.
50-50. She's playing 50-50. You have to say I'm playing 50-50 if it's a band with only 2 members in, okay? She's playing 50-50.
I would... This is based on who I'd go and see on their own.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go and see either of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I don't know which one's which.
Rossi's the Pony Baldy.
And
Parfit's
the druggy...
Elderly Justin Dealey.
Right, okay, yes. Okay. So Parfit or... Rossi or Dealey? Who's it going to be?
Get rid of Rossi.
The Baldy Pony. Kelly, your turn. Just sort of a good one.
You too.
No, she'll go.
Careful.
You too.
No, we've had ours. It's your turn.
Well, the police.
What have they got to do with it?
They're Bully Brothers.
Yes, you're
I'm
playing
going 50-50.
She's playing 50-50.
Playing
She's going
50-50.
50-50.
Don.
Is he the only one that's alive now? It's going to be quiet.
This apparently sounds like the Beatles. Let's find out, shall we, guys?
Take my photo off the wall if it just won't sing for you. 'Cause all that's left is gone away, and there's nothing there for you to prove. Oh, look what you've done. You've made a fool of everyone. Oh, well, it seemed like such fun till you lose what you had won. Give me back my point of view, 'cause I just can't think for you. I can hardly hear you say, what should I do? Well, you choose. Oh, look what you've done. You've made a fool of everyone. Oh, well, it seems like such fun then till you lose what you had won. Oh, look what you've done. You've made a fool of everyone. A fool of everyone. A fool of everyone. Take my photo off the wall if it just won't sing for you. 'Cause all that's left is gone away, and there's nothing there for you to do. Oh,
What? No, I like that. That's Jet. I thought Jet were hard Australian rockers.
Well, you would like that. They've nicked bits of every other song, haven't they?
No,
The Beatles.
not a problem with that. There's not a law against nicking stuff, is there?
Yeah.
Are they hard? Are they Australian? And are they rockers? Because that's what I've always thought Jet was.
Jet. Jet, stop doing it because I have to do it. If you.
Oh, you're gonna be my girl.
No, mate, I'm not going to, and I told you we will discuss that off air. Right? She's unbelievable. Sexy harassment at work really is bang out of order. I want to play 50-50.
Is it your turn?
Yeah. She did the Everleys.
Oh, yeah.
I want to play 50-50.
Go on.
Chaz and Dave. I mean, what, really? He does the bass guitar, and, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. No, it's all Chaz.
All right. I'm going to play...
Use that microphone, it'll amplify your voice.
I'm not going to play 50-50.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that straight out, so don't be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm going, aha.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Pal Wakata.
You're going to say what?
He's the ugly one.
You're going to... Hang on, let's just... I'm going to rewind the tape. This is what Catherine said.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka.
Yeah, that was an interesting... let's just rewind that tape. This is one more time. This is what Catherine actually just said.
Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga.
Just, I wonder... he says a word in there that I don't think we're allowed to say.
Ooga.
No. We can say that one. Just listen carefully.
Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga.
Filthy beast. Right.
Rolling Stones.
Oh, careful.
Yeah.
now.
Oh, hang on, guys. She's playing her Joker. You have to say I'm playing my Joker.
I'm playing my Joker.
And that means that you're playing a really big band.
Keith Richards.
Whoa, yes!
She said it.
She went there!
I went there.
Kelly Betts has won the game.
Thanks.
She's won the game. That's brilliant. That is brilliant, mate.
Oh,
You're
so
welcome.
stupid. Why did I play Pal Wakata?
Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga.
We should probably do something from the papers, but do you
Yeah.
know what? I can't be bothered, really. So, is Travel there?
Yeah.
Should we just do that?
Yeah, go on
For
then.
goodness sakes, why not?
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the anti-clockwise M25, heavy now between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and between 17 for Maple Cross and junction 16 for the M40. On the North Circular, some delays going east between Bounds Green Road and Arnos Grove, and heading west from the Clockhouse interchange around to New Southgate. No problems on the train so far this morning. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 6:45 and these are your headlines. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. And a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridge. Let's get the weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a clear start to the day. A little bit more cloud bubbling up as we head into the afternoon. Still sunny spells though, and it does look like it should stay dry. There are some showers to the west of us that may trickle in, but I think for many of us it will be a dry day with highs of 23 or 24 degrees Celsius in the right spot. And tonight, staying dry with clear spells and lows of 13 degrees, so quite comfortable. Tomorrow, cloudier though with some showers. Some of those are going to be a little on the heavy side. For some it will stay dry, obviously being the nature of showers, but it's still going to be a much grayer day tomorrow. Those showers should start to shift off though mid to late afternoon, and we'll have temperatures reaching about 22 degrees Celsius. Thursday's looking a bit more quiet, maybe 1 or 2 showers. There's a bit of uncertainty for Friday, but there is a risk of cloud and rain, probably mainly later in the day. Should clear though Saturday morning, leaving us with a bit more of a decent day, maybe 1 or 2 showers remaining and a bit of a brisk wind as well, but certainly much better than Friday. And that's your latest forecast.
That's rubbish. Does it get good?
Not really.
No, okay. I knew that the Olivia Tremor control. It was always going to be. It was always going to be a hard sell. Hang on a second. If you go near the microphone, it works.
I was near it.
No, you
Just
weren't.
turn it on.
No, it was
Don't
on.
be mean.
It was always on.
That sounded like trying to load a game in the 80s.
Hey, my ZX, my Spectrum Vega comes soon. Oh,
There's some naysayers online. Have you seen?
what are they saying now about?
It's not a Spectrum.
Well, no, it's not Spectrum.
Yeah, well, they're disgusted.
Well, go and buy a Spectrum then, you idiots. You go and do that. What I'm doing is, when it comes probably next week, and you're not in, I'm going to have a Spectrum party around the corner, Kels. You in?
Yeah, I'm
Nice
in.
one, yeah, nice one.
you
Who's
said that-
producing? I think Ben's producing. We'll get Shags in as well. We're going to have a Spectrum party, and we'll take pictures, and we'll send it, and I'm going to have no pants on. So we'll be doing that next week.
I've seen those pictures already.
I know. We should keep out of my... Hey, you, get out of my cloud.
Oh.
Don't hang around, because two's a crowd in my cloud. I don't like the cloud. I put some pictures on the cloud for the first time last week. It was like my mum trying to set our Betamax video recorder in 1982. I did not have a clue what I was doing.
I didn't realise how much stuff I'd stuck in the cloud
Yeah.
until recently. I had to reset my computer.
It's awful. I'm so
And I saved
worried.
loads of stuff, and I thought, gosh, anyone could see that.
Yeah. They can. Well, there's a story, I think it's the front page of the Mirror, he said, hoping that you'd look at it for me, that there's this website for cheats,
Yeah.
Ashley Madison. Hackers are going to expose the everyone that's signed up to that website. Unless, what do they want?
They close it down. It's a moral thing.
Oh.
They reckon it's an inside job.
I've got a great weakest link of the chain.
Hang on a second, mate.
We're still playing this. I thought we'd
you
all
can't, you
folded.
can't, you can't just...
I've got a great one, though.
You can't just go into it. You've got, there we go. Go for it, boss.
Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Oh, mate.
Careful.
Weakest link.
Yeah.
Diana Ross.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that. I'd like to go 50-50.
Oh. Bold move. What have you got?
Simon and Garfunkel. Paul Simon!
Whoa.
He's not got the voice, he's not even got the hair. Well, Art Garfunkel
Yeah,
hasn't
but
got the hair
then
anymore.
Art Garfunkel wouldn't have any songs.
Excuse me? Bright eyes
Just the one.
burning like fire.
Just the one for an hour and a half with an encore.
Bright eyes, how do you feel the pain?
You're talking rot.
How does the love that burns so brightly... I shouldn't be singing that, not when Benji
Genesis.
died last week. Yeah, go.
Collins, isn't it?
No, it's
Yeah.
not. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's not.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's Gabrielle.
Oh, I wasn't even including him.
Well, you've got to. He's
I've seen the
Genesis.
most recent lineup.
Is Gabrielle is the weak link. Okay. Okay. Well, here's an obvious one. You should have started with this. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Nash. The worst words you can hear in a concert are "Here's a new one from Nash," and I've heard that phrase too many times to want to exist.
Okay.
You guys missed me out.
Go on, your turn then.
It's like school.
Have a turn.
Kelly, could you stand up when you're talking to me? I am standing up.
Standing up.
Go on then, mate.
You too.
What about us? We've been there.
You didn't let me.
We've done our go. You just said it's your turn. We'll go on then. Bono. Hey, here's a band that ripped off the Beatles.
It's not important for you to know my name, nor I to know yours. If we communicate for 2 minutes only, it will be enough. For knowing that someone in this world feels as desperate as me, and what you give is what you get.
Controversially, Scott has tweeted, I'm going to play 2 out of 3.
Oh, wow.
Bruce and Rick in the Jam. Now, the solid backbeat, but I think you'd have to, you would have to go with that, wouldn't you? You've had time to look at the papers?
Yeah.
Have you used that time to look at the papers? That is the question.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, would you like to impart... Have we actually had any content in this first hour of the show?
What do you define content? We've been talking.
Yeah, fine. That's how I define content. And I am content.
Good. I'm glad.
I've accepted the fact that I'm a fatty.
Oh.
Yeah, I've accepted it. I'm a fatty. I'm going to live
You've
with it.
You've embraced it.
I'm going to get fatter.
Gosh.
I'm going to get fatter and fatter.
Well, you're a tall man. You can carry it.
Thank you. I have to carry it. What do you think? I'm going to leave it in a box at home?
Well, if you carry on, you might be able to. Still come into work.
People say I have childlike eyes. I do, in a box under the floorboards.
Oh.
Took a dark turn, didn't it?
Didn't it?
Didn't it?
Took a
Escalated
swerve.
quickly, didn't it?
I think you've got eyes of an emu.
Yeah, I have. In a box under the floorboards. An emu?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Emus don't have eyes, do they?
Yeah, like yours.
You're
what God based emus on.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Gosh.
The Kinks?
Oh, yeah, go on, because I was thinking of the
I was
Kinks.
going to talk about Sepp Blatter and Lee Nelson, but I can't be bothered.
Lee Nelson's a funny old fish. I don't really buy into the act. I wonder what he's using all this footage for as well, because he won't be allowed to use it on the BBC, I wouldn't have thought. But the Sepp Blatter thing is hilarious.
Yeah, maybe he's got a YouTube or something.
He's got a YouTube channel, he's got 20. I've got over 1,500 subscribers to my YouTube. It's very funny. He
got carted off by the cops.
He tossed in front of Sepp Blatter and then he got pulled off.
Yes.
Very, very funny footage.
Throw money
He did it on Kanye West as well.
He did, didn't he? Yeah.
Kanye. He did.
The Kinks, you were saying?
Dave.
No.
Yes.
No. Because no.
Yes.
No. I'm gonna play the B-side. That means I'm coming into the game and I'm laying down an official challenge. You now become the judge, okay, Catherine?
Good.
I'm flipping it onto the B-side. No, because Dave invented the sound. This sound he invented.
There's no Kinks without that noise.
So I'm flipping it.
Right. I'm sticking to my guns.
Okay, don't bring violence into it, mate. It's just a bit of fun. I'm going to say the weakest link of the Kinks. The weakest Kinks.
Pete.
No. Raymond Douglas Davis.
You can't say way.
Raymond Douglas Davis, the weak link of the Kinks, because he wrote a few good songs to them, but he didn't half drag them down with all his turgid, all his mental torment and and he also wrote a lot of old rubbish for them. Have you listened to the soap opera album all the way through? No, even the Kinks haven't.
I saw him once.
That's great news. I saw him come out of Snappy Snaps once.
Staying with superfluous
Hang on, you've got to choose who's right.
You.
Thank you.
Ugh, she was pointing at me.
I was looking at you, but I was thinking her all the time.
All the time.
She's actually going out on the radio.
Superfluous siblings. Here we go. Here's another one. And it's 2 out of 4.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm going with the All Saints.
Oh.
You can get rid of the Appletons.
Oh.
They count as one, though. The Appletons are one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just stick with Shaznay and Melanie Blatt.
Well, Shaznay wrote all the songs.
Exactly.
And Blatt was
cute.
the Blatty.
Oh.
Rob says Hendrix out of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Yeah, completely.
No.
He was rubbish. We all know that Hendrix couldn't play guitar. I wish he would. He did. He checked out of the hotel, the Morrison Hotel, who also checked out of it. They hadn't paid their bill. You can check it any time.
Not Jim Morrison.
But you cannot leave. Well, they left. Well, they didn't leave. They checked out, hadn't paid the bill, and they'd left. Jim Morrison left a poo in the bed.
Stop it!
Outrageous. True. It's all true stories. All true stories. Yeah, go on.
Going 50-50.
Okay. Is that what we said the phrase was?
The Carpenters.
No.
Do it. She's got to do it.
No.
She's opened the door now. You can't close it until you've walked through.
Richard, innit?
No.
No.
I mean, come on.
Saturday, ever-loving Saturday. No. It's Kaznay Carpenter.
No, you can't divide those two. That's untouchable. That's safe. That's your banker.
Do you know what? I think Kelly. I think Catherine's right. I think we have to introduce a new rule: safe band. You've tried to attack the safe band. You're out of the game.
I've got another safe band.
You're out of the game.
Why?
Because you attacked a safe band.
You're making up rules as you go along.
I made the title up in the car as a rubbish Stevie Nicks song came up. I thought, there's a game in this.
You know he makes the rules up as he goes along. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Mel and Kim.
Oh,
you can't even. No, I'm not even. No, you crossed a line.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1 is queuing coming towards London between Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner in Borehamwood. At the North Orbital Road, that's starting to build up at Bricket Wood at the M25 at junction 21A. On the M25, you'll find it's heavy anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. Also anti-clockwise heavy between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. No train problems to report. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm just sorry. Thank you, Tom. I'm on Facebook. I'm a member of various monkeys groups on Facebook. Sometimes you get spam on these Facebook pages, and I can't describe the video that's been posted on there. I can describe the caption that someone's posted underneath it. The caption simply says, "Oh, that's a happy horse." You fill in the blanks, guys. Coming up in about 3 minutes' time, an interview with Steve Baker, who he the MP for High Wycombe. Recorded it yesterday. You will not want to miss this. Very, very awkward.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: parents meet administrators at Buckinghamshire School. Man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton is released without charge. And missing Hemel Hempstead woman found safe and well.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parents fighting the closure of a special school in Buckinghamshire tomorrow met with administrators last night in an 11th hour bid to save it. They were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over Penn School near High Wycombe. Speaking earlier, the MP for High Wycombe, Steve Baker, said there was an outside chance it could be saved, but chances were slim.
It is still the case that a white knight rescue is possible, and there are still conversations going on. But the last thing I want to do is to give people a false hope. It's at this stage extremely unlikely that the school will be rescued as a school.
A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. The man in his 30s was arrested at a residential address in the town last Tuesday. A man in his 20s held at another residential address in Luton, and a man in his 20s arrested at a business address in Letchworth remain in custody. A 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire. Michelle Higgins was suffering from postnatal depression when she disappeared last Wednesday. Hertfordshire police say she was found yesterday afternoon. Nearly 50 Labour MPs have defied the party's acting leader, Harriet Harman, and voted against the government's welfare bill. The legislation, which includes lowering the cap on total household benefits and restrictions on child tax credits, cleared its first parliamentary hurdle with a majority of 184. From Westminster, Eleanor Garnier.
The left-wing leadership contender Jeremy Corbyn led the move among Labour MPs to ignore the calls from the party's interim leader Harriet Harman to abstain in the vote. 18 of Labour's 53 new MPs rebelled, joined by familiar names such as Diane Abbott and Helen Goodman, who called the measures regressive and obnoxious. But to the relief of those in senior Labour circles, no shadow ministers joined the revolt.
Inspectors have told the police force at the centre of the Rotherham child exploitation scandal that it still needs to make major improvements to some of its child protection procedures. The report looked at 28 recent cases investigated by South Yorkshire Police, with 7 assessed as inadequate. A cat has died after being shot with a pellet gun in Milton Keynes. It's thought the cat was shot near Downhead Park on the 9th of July. Police have issued an appeal for information after a vet found the pellet when the owners took the animal for an examination. Firefighters have been at the scene of a blaze in a field near Hitchin overnight. Crews were first called to Purton Road in Holwell just before 3 p.m. yesterday, with around 40 tonnes of hay alight. In sport, the American Zach Johnson won the Open Golf in a 3-way playoff at St Andrews, and Milton Keynes Dons manager Carl Robinson and his assistant Richie Barker have signed new contracts at Stadium MK. The weather dry and sunny, a maximum temperature 23 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Oh, we've not played rock, scissors and paper yet. If anyone fancies a game of that, I'm well up for it. Got an itchy hand. I've got a scissor happy... Hang on. Yeah, that's it. I've got a scissor happy hand. There we go.
Don't give away your best move.
Thank you very much indeed. If you want to play rock, scissors, paper, 03459 555. You have chosen to buy tickets for Minions. No, I didn't want Minions. You have bought 2 tickets for Minions. I didn't want tickets for Minions.
Stop saying Minions then.
I didn't say Minions. Oh, this blooming... I didn't say we're going to see the Minions. Yeah, why not?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
Now, this is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We'll get straight into this because this is quite long. Over a week ago, we heard from parents of children who attend a residential special school in Buckinghamshire. They were in a state of panic, and panic is by no means an exaggeration, after being told they had until tomorrow to come up with £1 million to save Penn School, which caters for deaf and autistic children, as well as those with extreme communication problems. The school's trustees have been, well, I'll be honest, they've been absolutely useless in terms of communicating with the parents and talking to us. We've left messages and not a jot. They don't want to come and talk to us and explain what's going on, which I think is awful. I think it's disgusting. But they've turned, a lot of the parents have turned to their MP, or at least tried to turn to their MP, because the Conservative MP for High Wycombe, Steve Baker, has been, he's a busy man. He's been difficult to pin down. Luckily, I managed to get 12 minutes and 35 seconds with him yesterday. And this is what Steve had to say. Steve, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. I know you've written about Penn School on your blog. When did you find out about the closure?
I found out about the possibility of a closure on the 5th of June this year, when I happened to see the head teacher at a local event.
Why has it taken so long for the parents to know about this?
Well, I've now seen some correspondence from the administrators. They were still engaged in the process of trying to rescue the school and keep it open as a school, and they evidently took a decision that it wasn't appropriate to involve the parents at that stage. But that is a decision of theirs.
Do you think it's the right decision?
The decision I would have taken would have been to involve me, the parents, the staff, everyone with an interest in the school at least a year ago, having forecast these numbers, and to have launched a campaign then is what I would have done. But it's not my place to second judge the professional administrators and the trustees who are responsible now for trying to save it.
So did the school, did the school know last year that it was in very serious financial trouble?
That really is a question for them. But the issue for me
is... You just hinted that they did.
Well, I've said that if it was me and I was a trustee, I would have been looking ahead, knowing the school was in special measures, knowing that that had implications for pupil numbers, forecasting revenue and thinking we need to have a fundraising effort. But it's worth bearing in mind that this is an independent school, so there's 2 things. One, it can't receive state aid. And two, most independent schools continuously engage in fundraising. And for me, it should have been a process all the time to be raising funds. And if the school had a particular difficulty, like being in special measures, which it did, then that would be a reason to increase the fundraising effort.
You would think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, you're right. It is quite normal for schools like this to have different kinds of fundraising events, and it seems odd that they chose not to. You found out on the 5th of June. I think that the parents found out a couple of weeks ago. Did you not feel you had a responsibility to alert the parents?
Well, my responsibility is to pursue the public interest, but it's not my responsibility to breach private information, which I've been given. And I receive private information all the time, and people would not expect me to breach confidences. But there are legal processes when a company, when it is a company limited by guarantee, goes into administration, and I am wary that I have a duty under the law not to breach private information in many kinds of circumstances.
So how did you find out?
The head teacher and I happened to see one another at the Penn and Tyler's Green Residents Association AGM, and she mentioned it to me.
That it was going to close?
She didn't say it was going to close. She said there was a danger of it, which caused me immediately to get my senior staffer to do the research necessary to find out where we thought things were. And where it quickly became apparent a number of things. Number one, that state aid wasn't possible because it's a maintained school. And secondly, that strenuous efforts were in progress to try and save it. And subsequently, I've seen an email from the administrator, which shows that has been the case. And they evidently have taken it extremely seriously, talking to people who might have bought the school and operated it as a school, people with material financial means that might have been able to help. But this is the job of administrators in these circumstances, to seek to continue to operate the business, the school, and it really is a matter for them how they try and rescue it at this point.
It's out of special measures now, isn't it? Yet no more new students were taken. The council referrals didn't resume once it came out of special measures. It seems an odd decision.
It is still rated as requiring improvement on the report of 6th to the 7th of May. But again, this is a question for them. I haven't got to hand the regulations about exactly what standard a school must meet in order to attract new students, but there we are. The numbers fell to a level that was unviable.
It is improving. We know that a significant number of the Ofsted inspectors have been let go. I think it was 40%, wasn't it, a few weeks ago, because they weren't up to the job. These parents are in a terrible situation, aren't they? What help can you offer them as the MP for this area that the school is in?
The parents are in a devastating position. I've got enough second-hand experience of children with autism to know that it really is devastating, and they will be extremely worried and concerned. What I need to do is make sure that the county council, at this point, that the county council does its job of placing children in alternative provision, and I appreciate that is a difficult thing to do. However, I have seen some details about how that's progressing, and it's clear to me that rapid progress is being made. And that some children or students have already been placed, and I need to help make sure that goes ahead. But once the dust has settled, it's clear that we need to look into several aspects of what's gone on, in particular when people knew what, and how things might have been handled differently, so that a situation like this is far less likely to happen in future.
Some of the comments that I've read, I think on your blog, are saying that, Bucks County Council have recommended schools for these children to go to, but when the parents have got in touch with the schools, they're either hundreds of miles away or they've got no spaces, and they're not often. But what was so special about Penn School was it was a community, wasn't it? And some of the schools that have been suggested, I think, the parents feel they don't have the adequate requirements for their children.
Well, the special atmosphere at Penn School is not in doubt. Even in the Ofsted report, which put it into special measures, it was recognised that levels of nurture and kindness towards the students were extremely high, and that was an area identified as being good. That it's true that it's difficult to find matching provision for children with particular difficulties, but best effort is being made. And it is still the case that a white knight rescue is possible, and there are still conversations going on. But the last thing I want to do is to give people a false hope. It's at this stage extremely unlikely that the school will be rescued as a school.
Why do you think a year ago, if the trustees knew the school was in trouble, why didn't they pull their finger out and do a lot more to save it? Why didn't they get in new management? Why didn't they start having fundraising? Why didn't the implication that's been suggested again on some of the responses on your blog is this all comes down to money. They didn't want to save it, and now they can make a load of money selling the land off.
Well, people have got to be very careful not to say things which wouldn't stand up in court.
I don't think that's particularly libelous to put that forward as a theory.
Well, the assets of the school are held in a trust, and it'd be the trust that benefited should the school be sold. It'd be my understanding of the position, and so I don't think any of the trustees would stand to benefit. I don't want to be judging them. Many of these questions
they've let down the parents and the children, haven't they? I think it would be acceptable for the MP to judge
It is
them.
certainly the case that we are in a devastating situation, and I can read for myself, as you can read, that one member of staff has been stridently critical of the trustees, particularly in relation to having fundraising suggestions brought forward and being turned down. And there are some hard questions to be asked. Now, I've asked my staff to arrange for me to go and see the administrators, and if they will see me, I'll be glad to go and discuss some of these issues with them.
Good luck with that, because no one's talking to us.
Well, this is a time when people are extremely upset, and it does take, it's my responsibility to come and talk about the issue. I'm glad to do so. But
it's going to close on Wednesday. Have you not left it a little bit late to try and make contact with the administrators and to have a chat with them?
The reality is Parliament rises tomorrow, after which I'm far less constrained in my time. But with a government majority of 12, I'm simply required in London Monday to Thursday. And in all the circumstances,
you could do it on the phone or Skype or something. It just seems these kids' lives are potentially going to be maybe not ruined, but certainly thrown up in the air.
I'm honoured.
Leaving it till the last minute to have a word with the administrator seems a little bit slack.
I'm honoured that you should think that I should better just tip the balance. But the reality
but you're the MP for the area of the school where the school is.
Saving a school like this is a complex and difficult technical and legal task which requires expert financial advice.
And support from an MP.
Experts are doing it.
And support from an MP.
My staff have been in touch with them since I found out that there was a possibility, and we have been in close touch with what's going on. But it is not actually the job of a Member of Parliament to go into a business, a school, a charity and rescue it after it's failed. Everything has ended up coming to this point very quickly, and I'm afraid it is now a desperately late stage. We ought not to give out a false impression about what could be happen if I just spent 5 minutes doing something different.
No, you're right.
The point now is, thank you. The point now is that specialists have to make sure that the children's best interests are served, and that means alternative provision, unless some miracle happens, which seems unlikely.
No, you're right, and I know that this isn't a state school, so it is a slightly different set of circumstances. Obviously, you want the best for the parents and the kids. I think we can assume that, can't we, Steve?
Yes.
How many of the parents have you spoken to?
We are going to get in touch with all of the parents, and I've given instructions for that to be done.
So you've spoken to none of them?
At this stage, I have not spoken.
You've
to
known
the
since
parents.
June the school was going to close down, and you have spoken to none of the parents who are terrified, and they've been calling you. They've been trying to get in touch with you, Steve, and you've not spoken to any of them. Why is that?
Well, any of my constituents are very welcome to speak to me, and my constituents have not tried to get in touch with me.
We know that a lot of the parents have tried to get in touch with you, and you've not spoken to any of them.
There are parents who live in other constituencies, and
their kids go to school in your constituency, and you've not spoken to them.
I've spoken with their
why is that?
MPs. I've spoken with their MPs.
But why have you not spoken to the parents? Why have you not spoken to the parents of the kids, Steve? It really sounds, with the greatest of respect, you're saying you're busy, and I know you're busy. You're an MP, but you knew about this about a month before the parents did. I don't know if you're friends with the headmistress or whatever, but you mentioned that she told you.
Well, that's not a very... That is an insinuation that I don't appreciate.
What was the insinuation, Steve? The insinuation was that you...
It's not a question of being friends. It's about having a position in the community.
You were at a function, Steve. You were at a function, Steve, and the headmistress told you a month before the parents knew that the school was going to close. You didn't feel you had a responsibility to let the parents know. You've not spoken to the parents. I find that incredible. It's closing tomorrow. They're in a desperate state. I have spoken to the parents, and they're terrified.
I appreciate that the parents are terrified. As I've said to you, the head said to me there was a possibility, at which point we started doing the research necessary to establish what the facts were. But as I've also said to you earlier in the interview, it's not the job of a member of Parliament to sidestep proper processes. And it's extremely important.
It's to look after the people
circumstances-
in your constituency, Steve, whether you're busy or not, and you know that. Come on.
Of course it's my job to look after the people.
Well,
in
you're
my
too busy to go and talk
constituency.
to the parents.
But
You're
if
too
you
busy
were
to talk to the administrators. You're too busy to do this, too busy to do that. What are you doing?
I'm very happy to answer your questions, but I would like you to give me an opportunity to answer them.
What are you doing?
What I have done is take the proper steps to ensure that the people who have responsibility for this school, for seeking to rescue the school, for seeking to place the children in alternative provision, are all doing their job. And insofar as I am able to ensure that that is the case, I can tell you that they do all seem to be working extremely hard, very quickly, to pursue the best interests of those children. And that is my job, making sure that they're doing theirs, they are doing their job. It's a tragic situation. Let's not make it worse by giving people a false impression about what is possible in very, very difficult circumstances like these.
Steve, I really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I was welcome. That was Steve Baker, who's the MP for High Wycombe. Make of that what you will. Love your thoughts on that, please. 03459 455 555. We mentioned before that interview that we have been trying for quite a while to get the trustees of the school to come on the show or speak to us. I've just been forwarded, while that interview was playing, an email was sent at 11 minutes past 9 from, I think, one of the trustees, and it was forwarded to us while that interview was taking place. I'll read it in a minute. Before that, though, let's do some business. OK, business done. Let's do some news. Oh gosh, look at the time. It's 7:18. It's BBC Three Counties Radio. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wycombe met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge, and a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead, who went missing nearly a week ago, has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire.
Get more from BBC Three Counties Radio online by liking our Facebook page.
Take part in our conversations,
including what we talk about every afternoon.
Well, it's kind of how most taxes work. So most taxes work that, on the first bit you pay no tax, on the next bit you pay basic rate tax, on the next bit you pay 40%, then 45%.
see pictures and videos you won't get anywhere else.
What we're going to do today is take you around for a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, all 3.66 miles, which will be used for this year's British Grand Prix.
Get more from BBC Three Counties Radio online by liking our Facebook page at facebook.com/BBC3CR.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, well, that interview with Steve was recorded yesterday. Took quite a lot of chasing to get. He wasn't very happy with the tone of some of our tweets or something. I don't quite know why an MP would be upset with that. Listening to that is one of the mums who's got a kid at the school. It's Amanda Burgess. Good morning, Amanda.
Hi, Ian.
You were listening to Steve there. What did you make of that?
That was all amazing. Just, I'm sitting here a bit speechless, actually. There's just so many things I want to say on that.
I did. You can say, listen, you've got as much time as you want. I just want to apologise because you gave us a question to ask him, and I didn't get time to ask that yesterday. I apologise. But what do you want to say about it? What struck you?
Right, well, first of all, the fact that they're all working so hard to find us all alternative provision for our children. We don't actually want alternative provision. He's kind of missed the point. We want to keep Penn as it is and keep our children there. So why do they not put all their energy into saving Penn and not looking at schools that are not appropriate for our children anyway? So that's one comment. Also, absolutely staggered he knew on the 5th of June, and how dare the head teacher just on a social event have that conversation with him, and then that not be shared with parents.
That's the thing. That's the thing that struck me, Amanda, is that he knew on the 5th of June. So who knows when the headmistress knew? She knew it was in trouble a year ago at the very least.
Yeah.
The 5th of June that no one thought to tell the parents. That's the thing that really struck me.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. I just can't believe. He also talks about his experience of ASD and children with special education needs. I'd like to hear what his experience of that is, because as far as I believe, he's not visited the school, he's not spoken to any parents. He talked about the fact we could contact him through our own MPs. I'm in Hertfordshire, so I contacted Mark Prisk numerous times. He's been very supportive to me through the special measures thing. And he came back to me apologising, saying because I'm not, because the school is not in his constituency, he can't help me. That's Mark Prisk. So I went to Steve Baker.
Which is understandable. That's an understandable and fair response, I would suggest.
Yeah, understandable. And now, so I went to Steve Baker, and now I'm told that he can't help me because I'm not in his constituency. So basically, no one's going to help me. And yet my son lives 5 days a week in his constituency, but he doesn't count that.
Amanda, I'm sorry to keep interrupting. Can I just ask, have you called Steve Baker's office or tried to make contact with Steve Baker's office?
Oh, yeah, I've emailed. I haven't called. I've emailed numerous times and via my MP.
Okay, because Steve was saying that no one that people hadn't made contact. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, he actually said none of his constituents have
You're right,
made contact.
yes.
I'm not his constituent, but I have certainly made a lot of contact with him. So whether that's true or not, but why will my son is in a school in his constituency? Why will he not talk to me? What's he afraid of? That's what I want. I want to talk to him.
We have got an email. Sophie was working on this yesterday. Our reporter Sophie Solaria was kind of setting up the show, and she was sent an email at 11 minutes past 9 last night. So, guess what? There was nobody here to get the email. She's come in this morning, and she's given us this email as soon as she came in, and it's from Kerry McLeish. Kerry McLeish is one of the trustees, is she, Catherine?
I'm assuming so. I've never heard that name before. The chap we've been phoning is called Hugh Forsyth.
Hugh Forsyth is CC'd into this email, OK? So it says, Dear Sophie, unfortunately, none of the trustees are able to make a call with the show tomorrow morning. The information below has been approved by them, however, and there's some, it's kind of waffle, and is provided in answer to your questions and to better inform you of the true facts to ensure that what you discuss on the programme tomorrow is accurate. Could you please confirm that your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? We've already had to engage lawyers about previous BBC coverage, and if you're intending to say anything negative, the trustees should be given an opportunity to respond. Given the time now, 11 minutes past 9, and you're broadcasting the programme tomorrow at 8, asking us to respond this evening would not be reasonable. Regards, Kerry. A couple of things in Sophie's and ours defence. Sophie would have started work on the show, 10:30, 11 o'clock yesterday morning, and I know that she would have called, this was going to be the lead story, she would have called very quickly to the trustees. I called Hugh Forsyth, 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Something like 10 o'clock, Amanda. I called Hugh.
And we have been calling them for a week.
Yeah. I left a message yesterday asking him to come on, say that we'd really love to get the trustees' side of the stories. It's a little bit one-sided at the moment. The other members of the team have been calling them for over a week. At one point, the trustee said, oh, no, we're not allowed to come on and talk about it. The administrators have told us we can't talk about it. But when we checked with the administrators, Catherine, what did they say?
They said that wasn't the case at all.
That wasn't the case, that the trustees are allowed to come on and talk about it. So I'll be honest, Kerry, this sounds like a threat. This sounds like a veiled threat. With our lawyers, we've had to engage lawyers about previous BBC coverage.
And also sending it at 9 o'clock at night.
It feels like they want to make us an offer we can't refuse. And it's this line. Can you please confirm your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? No, I can't. I tell you what is negative and critical is the fact that you can't be bothered after we've been chasing you for over a week to get off your backsides, pick up a telephone and come on the show and tell the parents and tell these kids and tell the listeners why this school has collapsed, why people knew about it as far back as June, why as far back as last year people knew that the school was in serious financial trouble, and that none of the trustees decided to get off their backsides, get new management in, get new staff in, have a rethink or have some huge fundraising efforts. Why none of that was done. So, Kerry, if you consider that negative or critical, then, so sue me, Sorry, Amanda, we're all getting very peed off with this story. Not as much as you lot are, but I know that we've all kind of taken this all rather personally, and it's really doing our head in.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We appreciate all the support that you're giving us. And, I mean, to be honest, we met with the administrators last night. And
How did that meeting go?
They're being very supportive, and I was interested to hear that Steve Baker says he's going to meet with the administrators, so I will speak to them today.
Yeah, that's today he said he's going to meet with them, yeah.
we can join in on that meeting with Steve Baker. So he said he wants to meet with administrators. Fantastic. We'll see that happen.
Just to clarify, because Justin was at the meeting last night, just to clarify something, how many of the trustees were at the meeting last night?
No trustees came last night.
But yet Kerry McLeish was quite able to send us slightly aggressive, slightly confrontational. Aggressive is a strong word. A slightly confrontational email last night, but she wasn't able to get off her backside. Neither was Mr. Forsyth to go to this meeting and address parents, but the administrators could. Well,
what we decided at the meeting, it is very disappointing that the trustees aren't engaging with us. I'm putting it very politely. You know, I know some of these people I've met over the last few weeks, and you know, they all had various different reasons as to why they couldn't come. So the word I'll use is disappointing that they wouldn't engage with us. We now need to focus on the positives, and we'll come back to the trustees at some point in the future and where that all lays, and the administrators will have a duty to look into past actions, etc. We need to focus on moving forward, getting the school saved, talking to Steve Baker, and we can't waste our time now at this late stage engaging the trustees. Obviously, it's really important they do engage at some point, but we just want to save the school, and that's what we're trying to do desperately. And with your help, you know, it's been amazing.
We're not going to let this one go. I know. I've never seen Justin so furious. I mean, Justin is really, to have Justin on your side, Amanda. You're in very safe hands.
Brilliant.
Steve has said that he's going to instruct his staff to make contact with all of the parents. It'd be interesting to know. I know. It'll be interesting to know. Let us know if he gets in touch.
Let's see if he emails me back on the emails that I've sent him. I'll send him another one today.
Yeah, do that. If you send him another email and just say you heard him on the show this morning saying he's going to get in touch with all of the parents. Well, here I am. My name's Amanda. When can we talk, please?
I had a text message through, and I've been wondering when this would happen. This message would come through, but here it is from Dave in Milton Keynes. It's a private business that is not making a profit. I don't remember you making this much fuss when Comet or Woolworths closed down. It's nothing to do with the government. Why is this different?
Well, who's that from?
Dave in Milton Keynes.
Oh, Dave, do you really need us to tell you why it's different? Or are you just being obtuse for the sake of being obtuse? It's kids. It's not just kids. It's vulnerable kids who need a special, safe environment where they can learn, where they can be integrated, where they can learn. One of the parents was telling us that their kid learnt how to wipe their backside there. Do you know what I mean? It's not a business. It's not just a business. There is a whole lot more to this. And Dave, if that's your attitude, I don't want you listening to my show. Amanda, will you keep in touch with us?
Of course I will, anytime.
I'm sorry, we're all really angry. It's just
show now.
You are. You're a regular contributor. Listen, we'll speak to you later on, and let us know. Keep in touch if you hear anything back from Steve or any of the trustees or anything.
I will do. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Ta-ta, Amanda. It's a business, right? But it's not. By the way, I don't think I was on the air.
Actually, it was a charity.
I don't think I was on the air when Woolworths... But I was gutted when Woolworths closed because loads of people were going to lose their jobs. Same with Comet. I was gutted because loads of hard-working people were going to lose their jobs, probably not get paid their last month's salary as well. So, actually, I was gutted, and the government should have stepped in and helped those people. But it's not just a school. People like that get right on my wick. Right, let's have some of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Heavy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. Also at Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road, joining the M25 at junction 21A. Borehamwood, the A1 coming south, that's queuing between Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. The A10 southbound also busy between Bullsmore Lane and Southbury Road, the A110. In Watford, Stevenson Way heading out of town, that's busy joining the M1. Also in Watford, Exchange Road looks heavy on the speed centres around Upton Road. No problems on the trains. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. A second man arrested in Luton and a man arrested in Letchworth remain in custody. And a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire. Michelle Higgins was suffering from postnatal depression when she disappeared last Wednesday.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
The American Zach Johnson won the Open Golf after a 3-way playoff at St Andrews. He finished a shot ahead of the South African Louis Oosthuizen and 3 ahead of Australian Mark Leishman over 4 extra holes.
It means a great deal. As it should. It's a major championship. It's the Open Championship, and it's one of the richest in tradition in sport. So I'm humbled and honoured.
Milton Keynes Dons manager Carl Robinson and his assistant Richie Barker have signed new contracts at Stadium MK. This season will be Robinson's 6th in charge. He's currently English football's 3rd longest serving boss. He made the contract announcement on last night's Monday Night Sport.
It's been a long 5 years, and I believe very successful on and off the pitch as well. I think that you see how far the football club has come to where we were 5 years ago has been quite remarkable. And if the next 5 years are half as exciting as the first 5, I'm sure we're going to be in front of the roller coaster.
Meanwhile, the Young Dons side lost 2-1 at Chesham last night. The first team squad travelled to Mansfield this evening. Luton won 5-2 at Gosport last night, with new signing Josh McCoyd scoring twice. Danny Green, Cameron McGeehan with a penalty, and Zane Banton were also on target. The Hatters included trialist goalkeeper Dinez Mehmet and striker Craig McHale-Smith. Meanwhile, striker Lee Angle has joined Peterborough for an undisclosed fee. The 20-year-old never played for Luton but scored 25 goals on loan at Boreham Wood last season and turned down a new contract at Kenilworth Road. Elsewhere tonight, Wickham go to Wealdstone. Stevenage play 2 45-minute friendlies against local sides in Spain in a 3-way mini-tournament. England's women cricketers begin their defence of the Ashes today with the one-day international against Australia in Taunton. And Chris Froome maintained his lead of over 3 minutes after yesterday's 16th stage of the Tour de France. BBC 3 Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Not commenting one way or another on Steve Baker's position. I really appreciate the fact that he gave us the time of day to come on and speak to us yesterday. Shame he hasn't got the time to speak to any of the parents, but he is very busy. MPs are very busy. We know that. Of course they are. Who's this text from? It's anonymous, I think. Good job. Good interview, Iain. That MP should be ashamed of his lack of focus and input. #benchwarmer. I've not heard the phrase benchwarmer before. I like that.
That's from Jeremy Markson. That text, do you remember?
What?
Jeremy. Mark, who didn't like Jeremy Clarkson, and we called him Jeremy Markson.
I don't remember that. Have we done that?
Yeah.
Have we done that before?
No, I'm just saying that's who the text was from. The anonymous text. Mark. Yeah, benchwarmer.
Benchwarmer.
Somebody, yeah.
I know what it means. I've worked out what it means. I'm on it. But I was
you were unaware of Jeremy.
I was unaware of that. Pat's in Houghton Regis. Morning, Pat.
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Well, that interview, Ian, yeah, you did a good job there.
It went half uncomfortable.
Well, he certainly sounded more uncomfortable than what you did. I mean, I've never known an MP so negative.
Hi, Andy, it's Catherine.
Oh, sorry, yeah. That was Catherine shouting in our ears. I do apologise.
Yeah,
my fault.
Just getting me ear back to normal. 1 second.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that MP, he seemed to be more interested in being part of the 12 majority of his party to keep them on board, to get what they want through, rather than any constituency he surely represents.
I can understand. And this isn't me being sarcastic. MPs are really busy, and when there is a small majority, you've kind of got to be there and do that. But also, you've been elected by the people in your constituency. Yes, a lot of those parents don't live in that constituency, but some do, and that school is in that constituency. Whether it's a business or not, that is a very important part of the community. And MPs have got some responsibility around that, haven't they?
Well, any MP of their sort and their way would use the technology that we got, even if they're in Parliament themselves. You mentioned Skype, there's email, there's anything you can use to get
I'm just going to pop down to Starbucks for 10 minutes. Can you give me a number of 2 of those parents, and I'll speak to 2 of the parents while I'm getting a coffee? That's all you need to do.
You've got it spot on, and I just think that throughout the interview, he could find every excuse why he shouldn't be doing something, and that's the kind of MP that you don't want in government. I'm sorry, Ian, that's it.
All right, Pat, listen, thank you very much indeed. I'm just going to read this email out again that we've had. Stay there, Andy. This email that we had again from the trustees of the school. We've been trying to get the trustees on since we did this story 2 weeks ago. It was before I went away, so 2 weeks ago.
It's like 2 Fridays ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that. Okay, we've been trying to get the trustees on. I don't know how many calls we've got, but they will be logged somewhere. I called up Hugh Forsyth yesterday, who I think is the head of the trustees. Called him about 10 o'clock, left a message, didn't call back. As far as I know, he didn't call back. If he did, I stand to be corrected. Certainly not on the show. So this is from Kerry McLeish. It's our reporter Sophie Solaria, who was setting up the show yesterday and did an excellent job, by the way, Sophie. Thank you. Hugh Forsyth is CC'd into it. Dear Sophie, read the interview. Unfortunately, none of the trustees are able to make a call with the show tomorrow morning. None of them? How many trustees are there? Do we know? Can we find out? Let's find out how many trustees there are. None of them could spend 5 minutes to come on the phone to explain why the school that they are trustees for is failing and is closing.
Hang on a second. Are they allowed to speak to us, or do they not have time to speak to us? Because that's the second...
The original line they gave us was they're not allowed, but we know that they are allowed. So none of them... Let's have a look. See if we can find out how many trustees there are, Catherine. None of them could spend 5 minutes to come on the show and talk to us? None of the trustees are able to make a call with the show tomorrow morning. The information below has been approved by them. Statement. Don't like statements. And is provided in answer to your questions and to better inform you of the true facts, to ensure that what you discuss in the programme tomorrow is accurate. Could you please confirm that your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? What do you think we are, BBC Coventry and Warwickshire? I'm sorry, but on this show we ask questions. We've already... Here comes a veiled threat. I interpret it as apologies if it's not. We've already had to engage lawyers about previous BBC coverage. Which coverage was that? And if you are intending to say anything negative, the trustees should be given an opportunity to respond. We've given you almost 2 weeks to respond. We've given you so many opportunities to respond. I left a message for Hugh Forsyth yesterday telling him we were talking about it on the show today. Would he like to come on and respond? Given the time now, and you are broadcasting the programme tomorrow at 8 a.m, asking us to respond this evening would not be reasonable. You were asked to respond before yesterday evening. That's from Kerry McLeish. Kerry, and Hugh and any of the other trustees, 03459 455 555. You are more than welcome to call him between now and 9. We can certainly talk to you tomorrow as well.
Or after, whenever, and we'll get you on as soon as possible.
Yeah, I won't be here straight after the show, but there will be a member of my team, could be Catherine, could be one of the excellent reporters we've got here, who will be happy to talk to you. But if you... Well, you can come on the show tomorrow. Come on the show tomorrow. Is that the school closes today or tomorrow?
Well, the school is out for the summer from tomorrow.
Come on
apparently
tomorrow.
They've got a bit of a stay of execution as to whether it's going to reopen again in September. The decision will be made at the end of the month.
Here's my open invitation to Kerry McLeish and Hugh Forsyth. Come on the show tomorrow. You can have, if you want an hour, you've got an hour. You want 5 minutes, you've got 5 minutes. Come on. Open invitation. You pick the time slot. You want to do it at 6 o'clock? Groovy. You want to do it at 8:30 if that's easier for you? Beautiful. You want to do it at 8 o'clock? We'll drop the news. It's all fine. You can have as long or as little as you want tomorrow on the show, any time you want. I very rarely issue that invitation to potential guests. We want you to come on. This isn't us blocking you coming on. We want you to come on and put your side of the story. Maybe we're missing something. And if we are, then pull down my pants and spank my bottom and tell me. Humiliate me on the radio if I've got something wrong. Or you can give us a call now, 03459 455 555. Have you found out how many trustees there are?
No, it's a bit tricky, but I'm keeping at it.
You have a little look while I speak to Andy. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Ian. How you doing?
Oh, I'm getting angry. I know that Justin's getting angry. Justin is one of the most laid-back dogs I've ever worked with. He's getting angry. We're all getting really angry.
What I don't understand is children's futures at stake.
Yep.
Why is the urgency not, apart from the text you had from that individual who said with comment and all the rest, it's a totally different situation.
Yep.
These are children's lives and futures at stake and somewhere where they're comfortable being. I don't understand, again, with the MP, if somebody had told him, wherever it was, why he didn't act then. If he knew about it...
Because it's a private business, Andy, and he was told in confidence, and as he said, it would be inappropriate for him to make public private business information.
But it's children's lives at stake, their futures.
It's a tweet from someone. I'm going to keep it anonymous. because it's a private message to me. It's worded slightly clumsily, but the sentiment, I think, is true. This story does my head in because, those kids are going to be put into normal schools where they'll be mercilessly bullied. Boom. And that's kind of it. One of the parents was telling us that when her boy, I think it was in a in inverted commas, lazy language, normal school, he had a mark, he had a sticker put on his back.
Yes.
So the teachers would know that who he was, which one he was,
where he was at all times.
How ridiculous!
It's that's reminiscent of the Nazis.
I'm sure there was one last week who suggested that her daughter had been tied up or something at another
just
school.
And these parents, a lot of these parents were told their kids wouldn't have friends, they wouldn't be able to speak, they wouldn't be able to interact, and you hear the stories of success that these kids have had in this school. Yeah, all right, so it was failing on the Ofsted and some of the learning things. That's not necessarily what school is all about, particularly not this school.
No. I think where the schools are put under pressure from all these Ofsteds, surely the priority is the child, not how much it's making or what good it's doing for anyone outside the school.
Oh, man.
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the point, like you said earlier on.
Yeah, if we're missing something, Andy...
Why?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, Ian, go on.
No, you make your point. Go on.
I just can't see how, as I said to the point I made earlier on, is that surely it's the pupils that come first. Now, as I said again, if that guy knew, whether it's confidential or not, all right, if it's the Comet and whatever else, or Walrus, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a corporate thing. This is children's lives and their futures. So surely that overrides secrecy and everything else.
I'm just kind of tapping away because I'm trying to find Kerry McLeish and Hugh Forsyth to see if they're on Twitter. Say that again.
I've just found a list of the trustees, fairly recent, and I know one has stood down because Hugh Forsyth is a recent chairman.
Okay.
So there are at least 6 people. Of
Thank
which
you,
one
by
of
the
them
way,
is Kerry Lee McLeish, the person who sent us that email at 9 o'clock last night.
So how many? You said there are at least 6 trustees.
6, I think.
And not one of them could spend 5 minutes to come on the show this morning. Derek's on the line. Morning, Derek.
Morning. All I really wanted to say, our husband is somebody that works at the school in the kitchen. I've got a list of all the trustees if you're interested.
Yeah, would be. Don't give it out on air, but have you got a way of emailing that to us?
Yes, I can do.
I'll tell you what you can do. Derek, I'm going to give you back to Catherine, and she will take that down, because that would be really useful. Because so far, the 2 names I've got, I'm sure the team have got more, are Kerry McLeish and Hugh Forsyth. Those are the 2 names that I've got. So
they're the ones that we've made contact with.
As many names as we could get. Derek, you say your wife works in the canteen, does she?
In the kitchen, yeah.
Is she a good cook?
Oh, yeah, excellent, yes. Although I do a lot of it at home.
Oh, I see. It'd be a busman's holiday, wouldn't it? Derek, listen, I'm going to put you back to Catherine. Thank you for your call. Give her the names, and we will check those. And I don't want to name them on there, just in case we got something wrong. But thank you, Derek. 03459 455 555. Could you please confirm that your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? Sorry, Kerry. Sorry, Hugh. Don't work like that. We say the truth on this show. The truth. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You can send us a text. Sorry, I'm a little bit swollen. I don't know what's... I've got a bit of trapped wind, I think. I do apologise. 81333. Start your text 3CR. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 anti-clockwise. It looks like lane 2 is blocked because of an accident between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23 for the A1M. There are queues halfway back to junction 25 for the A10. Also on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. The A1 coming south, passing Stevenage, junctions 8 to 7, looking heavy on the speed sensors. The A1 further down, queuing between Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner, and the A10 going south, that's slow between Bullsmore Lane and Southbury Road in Enfield. No problems to report on the trains. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tom, thank you very much. Rightio, where are we? 7:45, Tuesday the 21st of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge, and a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire, which is excellent news. Let's get the weather now. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there, a clear start to the day and lots of sunny spells around. We've got a bit of cloud bubbling up as we head through the day, but still should be staying dry. And there are some showers to the west of us that may just manage to work their way in, but for most of us it should be a dry day, with temperatures reaching 24 degrees Celsius in the right spot. Now tonight it should stay dry with clear spells and lows of 13 degrees. Tomorrow a cloudier day with showers. Some of those showers are going to be pretty heavy at times, but of course we may not all see those and just have a bit of a grey day than today. They do clear off to the east in the mid to late afternoon anyway. Temperatures reaching 22 degrees Celsius. Thursday's fairly quiet, maybe 1 or 2 showers. There's a bit of uncertainty for Friday, but there's a risk of cloud and rain, mainly later on in the day. Clearing on Saturday morning, leaving a couple of showers, but certainly a better day generally with just a bit of a brisk wind. That's your latest forecast.
Treasure Quest on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I don't want this show to be censored. You've got a clean house?
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to text in whatever you want to me.
Hello. Sorry. Jive here.
Are you all right for all this? Gosh, I thought we were going to have our first live death.
Saturday mornings from 9.
I'm going to help the female section of the quiz this morning.
All Liz will do is just not let you have part 2.
In a new feature, let's find out. Ernie, how are you in your big rubbery face?
It's a cross between Jacques Pat, hang on.
Treasure Quest, every Saturday morning from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555 is the telephone number. We think there are 6 trustees.
7.
7 trustees.
I had a question mark over 1, but having spoken to Derek, apparently he is still floating around.
OK, in April 2015 there was an advert looking for more trustees as well. If you wanted to apply, you can phone up. You could phone up Hugh Forsyth. That's the phone number. He's got a phone number. We've called it and left a message. He didn't call back.
And we know for sure that he's still the chairman. And we know that Kerry Lee McLeish is also active in there because she's the one who wrote to us last night.
I can't find either of those people on Twitter. That's not a crime. I'll have a little bit more of a thorough look later on, but sometimes it's easier to get in contact with people via Twitter these days. If you send them a little message in front of 45,000 followers, they seem a bit keener to kind of show willing. So listen, Kerry and Hugh, I hope, and the lawyers who are working for you that are listening to this, as you know, we've said nothing libelous, we've said nothing outrageous, we're just kind of expressing opinion and we're expressing the truth. We would love to get you on this show. We have tried to get you on this show. We would really love to get you on. There is an open invitation for you or any of the trustees to come on. You can come on this morning, 03459 455 555, but I know you're all busy or you can't make it this morning. Tomorrow morning, the day that the school closes for the summer break, maybe things will be a little bit easier for you guys. You can pick the time slot, pick as long as you want.
We know now that the decision as to whether the school will reopen in September won't be made till the 31st of July. So that gives us more time.
We've got 10 days. So we've got time to talk, guys. Come on, let's do this. Jakub's on the line. Morning, Jakub.
Morning, Ian.
What would you like to say, sir?
Okay, just wanted to share with you. I mean, we've heard about the kids, which is bad enough, but the staff are going through just as much as the kids are in terms of, what to do for September, and how they're going to make ends meet.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. What are the teachers going to do?
And because some of them live there as well, it's a residential facility.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point, Jakub, and shame on me for not thinking of that.
Yeah, I mean, some of the staff have been threatened with homelessness because they live there. And as teachers, if you were to look for a new job, you would do that at Easter, and nobody hires teachers at the end of July. So, we've just been a bit like the children. We've been left to fend for ourselves.
Are you? Do you work there, Jakub?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm one of the teachers there. Yeah.
What do you teach there?
I'm basically in charge of the ICT, so teach all about computers and
And do you live on site, Yakub?
Oh no.
I tell you what we're going to do, because your line is breaking up, and I really want to talk to you. Yeah, we'll call you after 8, Yakub, because it would be really good to talk to you. I'd be really interested to find out. We'll call you back, Yakub, because the line isn't great, and it'd be good to speak to you properly. Because I'd like to know. Isn't that interesting? I hadn't even thought of the teachers, and that's my bad as a horrible Americanism. Because teachers are going to be out of a job. How many teachers are there? Some of the teachers live there. Going to be out of a job and out of a home. Oh, sorry, that was my little 3-year-old boy telling me I've got a text. Be quiet when you come into work with Daddy. Shush! We'll get the texts later. Get the texts when Catherine's talking. You know that. I'd be interested to know when the teachers found out. Steve Baker. It's Steve Baker. I keep forgetting his name. Steve Baker, MP for High Wycombe, knew on the 5th of June. So the headmistress told him at some function. So what point would have she known? They knew a year ago, the trustees, the school was in trouble, didn't think of changing the management, the staff or anything like that, didn't think of holding fundraising events. Seems odd to me. So when did the staff find out that they were going to lose their jobs and possibly be homeless? We'll speak to Yakub later on. We'll get him on a better line. Thank you for your call. Any of the other teachers want to give us a call? Hey, man, you're more than welcome. 03459 455 555. Now, oh, yeah, look at this. Naughty, naughty. Ah, man, peace. A suspicious-looking plant has been found growing in the wild in the town centre of Welwyn Garden City. When I say suspicious, I mean drug plant cannabis. Cannabis. The council insists it's hemp, but members of the Welwyn Garden City Cannabis Club say it's a political statement. They want to raise awareness of its medical benefits. With us now is Finn Hemingway from the campaign group Feed the Birds, who works closely with the Welwyn Garden City Cannabis Club. Morning, Finn.
Morning, how are you?
Oh, yeah, good, thanks. Feed the Birds. What's your connection with cannabis?
Well, we want to feed the birds cannabis seeds.
Pourquoi?
If they don't eat them, they'll grow into huge plants.
Oh, so you don't want to feed them cannabis seeds. You want to scatter cannabis seeds around so they grow into plants, and you're doing it under the smoke screen, if you pardon the pun, of pretending you're feeding birds.
There is a native British bird called the common linnet. Its Latin name is Cardulius cannabina. Make no mistake, it was named after that because it loves hemp seeds.
Okay, and what's it called? The linnet?
The common linnet.
And where is the common linnet found?
It's got quite a broad range. At Feed the Birds and Welwyn Cannabis Club also agree with our objectives, really. We just want to recolonise Great Britain with cannabis.
All right, so it's got nothing... Just come on, don't listen, the Finn. I went to college. I've seen those cigarettes being passed around. Let's not don't try and bullshine me, fella. You're not interested...
It's been growing here for 4,000
No, I know,
years,
Finn,
so why should we stop?
Finn, this whole feed the birds thing is nonsense, isn't it? You just want to grow cannabis, and that's fine if that's the plan. So you just want to grow cannabis.
We'd like to remind people that everyday medical cannabis consumers are kind of being given criminal records, and they're being put under incredible stress for literally just wanting to feel normal.
Okay.
And we want to change the law, which is basically
we will get to that,
Finn,
we'll get to that bit in a second. I just want to clarify, this feed the birds thing is a smokescreen, isn't it? You just want to grow cannabis.
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on, Finn. Listen, if you're not going to... Talk straight with me, mate, and I'll let you put your point across, but don't mess me around, please.
We were even in a very large ornithological website.
You can't even say the word, mate. How many have you had today?
None.
Right, OK. Listen, I will let you do your piece about medical cannabis and all of that stuff, but don't bullshine me, fella. The Feed the Birds thing is a nonsense. You just want to plant cannabis seeds.
That's one of the things that we want to do. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Right. Why do you want to plant cannabis seeds?
Well, essentially, we just want to change the law, which is laughably out of date with science and disgustingly out of date with society. 65% of Britons want to see cannabis decriminalised. It's the oldest and the safest medicine known to mankind. Furthermore, there have been no new pain medicines in the last 25 years.
You can get cannabis on the NHS, don't you?
It's not a very good version of cannabis, I'm afraid. And it's just
you want a bit of skunky. Skunk Anansi, is it?
We don't want people to profiteer from. We don't want people to blatantly profiteer from.
Well, hang on. What do you want? Do you want stronger weed on the NHS, or do you want the people not to profiteer? I'm confused. Everyone profiteers from cannabis.
We want people to be able to grow themselves for their own purposes. We don't want them to have to be forced to pay money for their cannabis and be forced to go to the black market.
Well, no, but they're not. No, but you've ignored the one point that you can get cannabis on the NHS. My mum had it.
It's very, very, very difficult to get cannabis on the NHS.
Yes, as it should be. As all controlled drugs should be. As all controlled drugs should be. Yeah, it's difficult to get it.
Our bodies produce it naturally.
Oh, Finn, stop, Finn. Finn, listen, mate. You're not talking to some suit at BBC Norfolk, okay? Look, trust me. I know a bit more about cannabis.
I know, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, I probably know a bit more about cannabis than you do, mate. Okay, so come on.
Can you tell your users what the endocannabinoid system is?
It's irrelevant. You can get cannabis on the NHS.
It's very difficult to get cannabis on the NHS, and I'll tell your users, if I may.
My users? I think you mean my listeners, but who knows? We're having fun.
I'll tell your listeners, your lovely listeners, that it's very, very, very expensive to buy on the NHS, for the NHS and for us. It's sold to the NHS by a company called GW Pharmaceuticals, who sell the cannabis to the NHS at 5 times the street value, if not more. It's just wrong. It shouldn't be so expensive.
Do you use cannabis, Finn?
I consume cannabis for my pain, yes.
What is your pain? What's wrong with you?
Multiple broken bones and arthritis.
Which bones have you got broken?
It would be a long list.
That's okay.
And this isn't really about me. It's more about
it kind of is to a certain extent. What bones you got broken?
So I was invited onto this show to talk about what we do, not talk about myself.
What bones have you got broken, Finn? You're campaigning because you want cannabis to be legalised so people can grow it at home and all of that nonsense, but to help with pain relief. What bones have you got broken?
Well, I also want to legalise it because...
What bones have you got broken?
Prohibition, because prohibition actually pushes people to even more new harmful novelty drugs. Which are impossible to regulate.
Okay. What bones have you got broken, Finn? It's a simple question.
I've shattered my entire right leg. I've shattered my left leg. Right. I've broken my femurs. I've broken my metacarpals, my metatarsal bones.
And how does this help your pain?
Elbow. Well, all pain is managed by the endocannabinoid system.
Right. How does this help? Oh, goodness sake, why are you speaking English? How does this help you? This is the problem with stoners. Boring. How does it help? How does it help your pain?
Well, because all of your body. Every single biological function in your body is controlled by the endocannabinoid system. That's an endogenous cannabis system that every living animal is born with, right?
Endogenous?
I don't choose...
Is endogenous a word?
Yeah. So if you...
Could you Google endogenous for me, Catherine? Because I'm learning a new word. This is brilliant.
So if you do Google that and have a look at the endocannabinoid system...
I'm not going to, because I've done my research into growing cannabis.
Pretty quickly that you can use cannabis oil as a complete supplement for opiates.
I tell you what, though, it enough nice, isn't it?
To get on with, they're very addictive. Opiates are very addictive.
It enough nice, Finn.
Terrible.
Finn, it enough nice, isn't it? To roll a fat one and put on the White Album, isn't it? Isn't it?
I don't think smoking is a very good way of taking...
All right. Enough nice to make some hash browns and put on Revolver.
I think what you're doing is trying to make it sound like it's a leisure thing, where it's not.
Come on, Finn. Are you telling me, hand on heart, are you telling me you've never rolled a fat one and sat down and watched The Simpsons for pleasure?
I don't really watch TV. It's not something that I'm particularly interested in.
Have you ever rolled a fat one? Have you ever rolled a fat one and put on a bit of Jimi Hendrix live at the Isle of Wight for pleasure?
Who's Jimi Hendrix?
Finn, it's been great batting with you. You're not as good as you think you are. Come back on when you've had a bit more practice and we'll have another chat.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Just one lane open on the anti-clockwise M25 because of an accident and a fuel spillage between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23, the A1M at South Mims. Queues building up halfway to junction 25 for the A10. The A1M slow coming south past Stevenage, junctions 8 to 7. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
If we were any other local radio station, we'd now be doing the Should We Legalise Cannabis. We're not doing the Should We Legalise Cannabis. And listen, there is a really strong argument for using cannabis for pain relief. Of course there is, but it annoys me when people won't admit that they also use it for, a bit of fun.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: parents meet administrators at Buckinghamshire School. Man arrested in Luton by anti-terror police is released without charge. And missing Hemel Hempstead woman found safe and well.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. The MP for High Wycombe says he knew there was a possibility it could close on the 5th of June. Parents only found out 2 weeks ago. Steve Baker told Iain Lee he would have warned the parents earlier, but it wasn't up to him.
The decision I would have taken would have been to involve me, the parents, the staff, everyone with an interest in the school at least a year ago. Having forecast these numbers and to have launched a campaign then is what I would have done. But it's not my place to second judge the professional administrators and the trustees who are responsible now for trying to save it.
A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. The man in his 30s was arrested at a residential address in the town last Tuesday. A man in his 20s held at another residential address in Luton, and a man in his 20s arrested at a business address in Letchworth remain in custody. A 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire. Michelle Higgins was suffering from postnatal depression when she disappeared last Wednesday. Hertfordshire police say she was found yesterday afternoon. 48 Labour MPs defied their interim leader Harriet Harman last night and voted against the government's plans to cut the welfare budget by £12 billion. The draft legislation passed its first hurdle in the Commons with a majority of 184. 3 of the Labour leadership candidates, Andy Burnham, Yvette Cooper and Liz Kendall, abstained. There's been a spate of attacks on a grave in Milton Keynes. Thames Valley Police say the same grave in Newport Road in New Bradwell is being targeted and has left the family devastated. More from Jane Killick.
In the most recent attack, a tin of white paint was thrown over the grave and headstone on the 9th of July and graveside items were stolen. On another occasion, graffiti was sprayed on the grave. The granite base has also been smashed and cracked open. Police say the attacks have taken place over the last few months, with vandals intent on causing serious damage.
Inspectors have told the police force at the centre of the Rotherham child exploitation scandal that it still needs to make major improvements to some of its child protection procedures. The report looked at 28 recent cases investigated by South Yorkshire Police, with 7 assessed as inadequate. Firefighters have been at the scene of a blaze in a field near Hitchin overnight. Crews were first called to Purton Road in Holwell just before 3 p.m. yesterday, with around 40 tonnes of hay alight. In sport, the American Zach Johnson won the Open Golf after a 3-way playoff at St Andrews, and Milton Keynes Dons manager Carl Robinson and his assistant Richie Barker have signed new contracts at Stadium MK. The weather dry and sunny, a maximum temperature today 23 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Endogenous is a word. I've got no idea what it means. I do feel I was a little bit harsh on Finn there, our last guest. I feel I was... he caught the tail end of my anger with this, the Penn School story, which we're going back to. I tell you what annoyed me about him, though. That whole thing at the beginning of Feed the Birds. Oh, come on, man. Listen, if you want it for medicinal purposes, that's great. And also, do you know what? If you do want to smoke a fat one and listen to songs from the Big Pink by the band, I'm not going to judge you on that.
Let's not pretend it was about birds. He wasn't talking about fat balls with equal gusto, was he?
Fat balls. There's a blast from the past. He annoyed me with his obfuscation.
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yeah. Well, kind of.
Bonus. But so Will, if I was a little bit harsh, Finn, sorry, if I was a little bit harsh, I apologise. You know what to do to get over it.
Oh, don't worry, he's been rude back, so I think that makes you equal.
I know, what's he said?
Please tell Iain that he's a bleep. I don't smoke or take drugs. I assume that's him. Let's check.
You don't, no, let's not. He says, tell Ian he's a dick. I don't smoke or take drugs. Well, it's because you're not classing cannabis as a drug. I do. It's a minor technicality, Finn, and I apologise if I was a little bit too harsh on you. Now.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a different phone number. It might not be.
It might not
Someone
be.
posing his Finn, stirring it. Stop stirring it.
Stop stirring it and start smoking it.
No.
Don't. Listen, I would never make any judgment call. If people want to take drugs, I know people who have taken drugs. I know people who have had a lot of fun on drugs. I know people who have had a lot of misery on drugs. I know people, friends of friends who have died because of drugs, so... while I certainly don't take any drugs at the moment, everybody's on their own journey, man. Do what you want to do what you feel you've got to do. But I'm certainly,
Oh, hang on, we've lost Jakub.
Okay, we'll get Jakub back in a second. Let's speak to Justin, because this is the big story of the day. It's the Penn school story. Just over a week ago. It was about a week and a half ago, because before I'd gone away. Parents of 77 deaf and autistic children were told that Penn School in High Wycombe had gone into administration. The deadline to save it, well, it was tomorrow. That's changed slightly. Since then, they've been trying to crowdsource £1 million. Good luck with that, to make sure it's still open in September. They've also had a series of crisis meetings, the latest of which was last night, and a very special guest snuck in there. His name? Mr. Justin Dealey. You went to the meeting.
I did indeed, yeah.
And you didn't record any of the meeting, because that's against the rules, but you walked in there and you sat down and you were there.
Yeah, let's make this clear. Others were refused entry last night, but...
who was refused entry? Do you know?
Apparently, according to my sources, it was ex-teachers of the school who tried to get into that meeting last night and were refused entry. I got there early. I met with parents who wanted us there, by the way.
Yep.
I was never challenged. I went through into the school's gym. I sat through the entire 2-hour meeting with the parents and the administrator. I heard everything.
How did they think you were a parent, with the greatest of respect? How did they think, looking at you now? You look like the English Fonz.
Listen, I went in there. I didn't go in a suit or anything like that. I just went in a pair of jeans and a polo shirt, because I didn't want to make it too obvious. But I was in there.
Strong vibe?
A strong vibe. It was a horrible meeting. It was horrible.
I bet.
It really, really was. But there was some good news from this. The administrator said to parents last night they had contacted 14 potential buyers.
Yeah.
Of those 14, 5 of them are interested. Some of them have been to the school already. Others are going later in the week. So the new deadline now is the 31st of July.
So that's 10 days.
Yes.
They've got a 10-day extension.
So 5 potentially interested parties. Now, you've received this email from the trustees, haven't you?
Yeah, let me read it. This is from Kerry McLeish, she's one of the trustees. It's sent to our reporter, Sophie Solaria, who was setting up this story yesterday, and it's also CC'd Hugh Forsyth, who's the head of the trustees, a gentleman that I called yesterday morning about 10 o'clock, left a message asking him to give us a call back. We'd love to have him on the show. We've been trying to get these people on since the story broke. Let me just read this message. It says, "Dear Sophie, was sent at 11 minutes past 9 last night, and I think you can always... I always read something into emails sent at that time. Unfortunately, none of the trustees are able to make a call with the show tomorrow morning, today. The information below has been approved by them. It's a statement's got some facts, and is provided in answer to your questions and to better inform you of the true facts, to ensure that what you discuss on the programme tomorrow is accurate. Could you please confirm that your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? We've already had to engage lawyers about previous BBC coverage. I wonder what happened with those engagement of lawyers. Did anything? And if you're intending to say anything negative, the trustees should be given an opportunity to respond. Boy, oh boy, we have given you so many opportunities, and you can call up now, and you're welcome on the show tomorrow morning. Given the time now, and that you are broadcasting the programme tomorrow at 8, asking us to respond this evening would not be reasonable. Regards, Kerry."
Okay. I've got a fact which I shall come to in a second, which was said at the meeting last night. First of all, here is a clip of a parent who doesn't wish to be named talking about the fact that last night there were no trustees at this meeting.
I'm very angry because there are so many questions that all of us as parents need answering, and I don't feel that they have done that. When one of the first meetings we had, they said that they had looked at every angle possible to try and save the school. I put to them that they didn't, as they did not come to the parents. And as you can obviously tell, we are so passionate about this school. It is a wonderful school. All the staff there have done so much for our children, and to see our children progress the way they have, it is heartbreaking to think that a school as specialised as this one is just going to go just like that in 2.5 weeks. It's disgusting.
A lot of anger in the meeting itself. As I say, I wasn't recording. Now, the administrator said at this meeting last night there will now be a conduct review into the trustees. Now, that's to see if any payments have been made. Now, we're not saying for one moment they've done anything wrong, but the administrator will be conducting that review into the trustees, which could take up to 6 months.
As I'm sure any administrator would have to do in a situation like that. They have to check all the books and check everything and make sure everything is legit and all that. You've got another clip for me.
I
What's
have.
this?
Here's another parent leaving the meeting last night with their thoughts.
Madam, you just walked out of that meeting as well. Before we talk about the hope for the future, 2.5 weeks' notice, again, you can just feel the frustration and the anger in that room, can't you?
It's absolutely disgraceful, and it takes absolutely no responsibility for the special needs of the children. I think a mainstream child would have trouble finding a place in 2.5 weeks, but these children have got such complex needs that it's almost impossible. I don't think anyone's found a place yet.
You had the head teacher there this evening, also the chair of governors. You had Deloitte there, the administrators, but sadly, yet again, no trustees.
No, and that's very poor. And you wonder what they're trying to hide. They're not coming forward, so we can only make our own assumptions from that.
I say this end on a high because we heard this evening about 5 potential buyers. You are absolutely delighted about that. It's not the end yet.
No. Oh, not by a long way is it the end yet. And, you know, I don't think any of the parents in there are going to go down without a very big fight. Because our children love that school and it means a lot to them, and, you know, that's worth fighting for.
Justin, excellent. Thank you. Stay there because I want to bring Caroline Edwards into the conversation. Morning, Caroline.
Good morning.
Now, you've got a child that goes to Penn School, haven't you?
Have.
And you couldn't. Did you get to the meeting last night in the end?
I was very late to the meeting. I actually came just for when it was summed up. It was finishing, but I went along with the committee to meet with the administrators afterwards.
Okay, so you spoke to the administrators. What did you make of what they were saying?
I thought they were very positive. I felt that they wanted to help. I thought that it was encouraging that there are 5 people interested in taking the school on, and quite honestly, as parents, that's our only glimmer of hope. I thought Steve Baker's interview this morning was unfortunately really negative. It's like being on a roller coaster at the moment. 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down.
What did you make of, for those who missed it, Steve Baker's the MP for High Wycombe, who was on a pre-recorded interview an hour ago. What did you make of what he was saying? He knew on June the 5th that the school was closing.
He did know on June the 5th, and I think you had a valid point that he didn't contact the parents. He hasn't done anything really proactive to help us yet, I don't think. He's saying he's working with people at the moment, but to date I can't see what difference he's made.
Now, the reason that you were late for the meeting is not just because you're watching the EastEnders or something. You were off looking at an alternative school. No, that's right. That is right. We as everybody knows, we had 2 weeks' notice. I had work commitments for about 4 of the days following the announcement, so I couldn't get on the case. That's similar to other parents. You know, we've all got other work commitments, which at the end of the day are also a priority, but finding new schools for our children is fundamental, and I joined the Save the Pen campaign last week, felt positive that we could do something about it, and people kept rattling me and saying, come on, you've got to find an alternative school for your child. I'm there hoping and praying that Penn School stays open, but the reality has hit. I've got to look for a new school. Oh, of course you have.
It's not easy. So there's a school that I would like to see. The school has already shut down. It's a school I saw when Lucy was 11 years old. I think it would be appropriate, but the chances of getting her in for September, I'm not sure if they're there.
The school you were looking at yesterday was in Nottingham, is that right?
The school that I looked at yesterday was in Nottingham.
And do you live in Maidenhead?
I do, yeah. It was a 3-hour journey to get there. Lucy would have to be residential. But there's just nothing in the area that can provide for her specific speech and language needs.
So, Caroline, it's Justin here. I met you briefly last night, spoke to you on the phone as well. Just to go back to the point about trustees, again, there was a lot of anger there last night about the trustees not being there. You came to the meeting late, but you met with the administrator as well. The administrator says that they are in regular contact with the trustees, but how do you feel about them not being there last night to meet and talk to the parents about the future?
I'm really angry that they need to be there to answer questions. Somebody needs to be accountable for the fact that we were let down so severely and advised so late. They have no idea how difficult and how stressful the situation is for us, for staff, for our kids that are, completely confused. And at no point, they're just worried about themselves. That silly email they sent in last night, they're worried about having, the whole thing making them appear as if they've been doing something shady. When are they going to mention the children? When are they going to care about the children?
One final brief point on that as well. Something else from the meeting last night, Iain. The parents were talking about potential buyers of these 5 potential buyers. If they bought the school, would that come with the trustees? Every single parent there made it very, very clear they do not want the trustees as part of a new school if it was bought out. The administrator said if they're buying it, they buy it with the assets. The trustees do not come with that.
Caroline, keep in touch. I'm saying this to all the parents. If there are any other parents or any other members of staff that are listening to this that felt that their voice hasn't been heard, they're more than welcome to come and join us on this show at any point and talk. You can email ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. I just wish you the very best of luck, Caroline. And we are on. We're on the side of the kids. We want the kids to have somewhere safe and decent to go to. And will it be Penn? I don't know.
Penn School, it's the perfect school. It's a school. It's a community, as somebody said, within a school, within a community, and it provides the special help. How on earth can we be considering just letting it go?
Caroline, I really appreciate your time, and Justin, excellent stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, boss.
Do we have to pay you extra for last night, or is that?
No, just buy me breakfast at some point this week. All right?
Unbelievable.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, only the outside lane open after an accident with some lorries between Potters Bar, junction 24 and 23 for the A1M at South Mims. It's busy from Enfield at junction 25. On the M1 coming south, very slow between junction 15 for Northampton and Newport Pagnell services. On the A428 in both directions, it's busy at Lavenden around Harold Road. The A1M going south, that's slow between the Stevenage junctions 7 and 8. Enfield, the A10 coming south, slow between Bullsmore Lane and Southbury Road. No problem still on the trains. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. I'm just showing Jonathan my dickie. Do you like my dickie? You like a bit of dickie, don't you?
Oh, yes.
You love a bit of dickie.
Yes.
When was the last time you got yours out?
Not for a few years, actually.
It cost me 10 pence, this album. Neville Dickey we're talking about. It cost
Dickey.
10 pence, this album.
What was it? What's the song about the bird? It's,
The Robin's Return.
Robin's Return.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
You read my...
I love a bit of this. A bit of Neville Dickey.
You look at that while I do the news. Is that right?
Lovely.
Thank you very much. It's 8... Oh, gosh, look at the time. It's 8:18. It's Tuesday the 21st of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines. On BBC Three Counties Radio, parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge, and a 32-year-old woman from Hemel Hempstead who went missing nearly a week ago has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can we not have a bit of Neville Dickey on?
Can you if you pull my dicky out and I'll slap it on.
Such a child.
What are you going to tell us something? You're going to something really horrible and serious, though.
Well, it is quite serious.
Well,
yeah, but let's have a bit of Neville Dickey first.
Just
What about my very good friend the Milkman?
Is that on there?
It
is on there.
That might go quite well today with my phone in.
Really? Okay. My very good friend the Milkman. That's side one.
Which number is it? He's just lining up the record, ladies and gentlemen.
6. It's that faded there.
Right.
There we go. It's Neville Dickey.
It's Neville Dickey. Lovely bit of Neville.
He does look like Paul Scoggins. The next fancy dress party. I'm going to throw a fancy dress party just so Paul Scoins. I'm going to throw a Neville Dickey party and only invite Scoins. That's what I'm going to do. Is it appropriate for me to be playing My Best Friend the Milkman? Delivers the milk.
Well, I'm talking about having affairs.
Oh, then perfect. Now, this is great music.
So,
no, hang on a minute.
My very good friend the Milkman.
No. I've got a better record.
You've got something better?
I've got a better record for that.
What's going on?
I've got a better record for it.
What have you found? Oh.
Here we go. This is much better for that. Hang on, here we go.
Okay.
You'll like this one. This is whipped cream.
Whipped cream. Oh.
Does this demean your art? Because if it does, I can stop it. I'm not quite happy.
No, I think it's a novel way of mentioning my show at 9 this morning.
Oh, God.
I might have to move, though. I can't... when music like this
What
comes
are you
on, I
doing?
can't just sit still.
What are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah. I just have to. I just have to.
You look like what's that? I didn't watch Red Dwarf, but the robot from Red Dwarf, Lister.
Oh, yeah.
You look like him having a little boogie.
Well, it looks like you're having an electric shock, actually.
Coming up on the big phone in this morning, do you think the Ashley Madison hackers have done a good thing? A dating website that helps married people cheat has been hit by hackers who've threatened to release information about millions of customers. Ashley Madison, which used the advertising slogan, "Life is short, have an affair."
I've not heard that. I'm so sorry.
That's their slogan.
I've not heard that.
Life is short, have an affair.
Oh, that's so terrible.
They said that it had been attacked and some user data was stolen. Well, the hackers, they've published some of the information already, and they say that they'll publish more, including the names and details of the website users, if the website is not shut down. Well, from 9 this morning, I want us to debate this on the big phone. Do you think the Ashley Madison hackers have done a good thing? If ultimately their motivation for this is to expose those who are using the website, to force them to shut the website down, is that all a positive thing? I'd love your views, your reaction to this on 03459 455 555. It's the big phone in this morning from 9.
There is an argument that maybe they've done something morally
And making us cry.
You wouldn't wish it on anyone.
For expanding our minds.
We're going to take a walk through Luton, holding hands, see if anything happens.
And broadening our horizons.
But if my liver's literally not hanging off on its last threads, then...
You can up your drinking.
For all of our hopes.
You can be sure that I'll never ever forget you. Your very loving husband, John. And I leave that on there. She might read it, I don't know.
And our dreams.
Watford are promoted to the Premier League.
The final whistle goes at Stadium MK. The Dons are in the Championship.
For not just listening, but living it too.
I think Tim needs to go to Watermead.
Where?
Watermead.
For all of us. BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555 is the phone number. Talking about Penn School in High Wycombe. It's a school for children who need considerable more help than your average child. It's deaf and autistic kids and kids with communication difficulties. It's struggling. Here's a text from a loving person, Sean in Abbots Langley. Come on, guys. All you ever talk about on your show is special schools, special schools. Why don't you make a change and talk about Muslims? Nice one, Sean. Really caring attitude. Isn't that lovely? 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you've got a kid who goes to the school, if you work at the school, if you feel that your voice has not been heard, then it can be heard here. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. We're going to try and get Yakub back on a bit later on if we can, who is one of the teachers who called us. But before that, it's Sheila. Good morning, Sheila.
Morning.
Sheila, what would you like to say?
This is on the situation with Penn. I'm a relative of a child that's there. All the parents are in shock, all the children are in terrible shock, and the impact it has on them is terribly amplified. But I've got a real conspiracy theory here, because the Bucks County Council had a special needs youth club called Youth 5, which is in Green Street in High Wycombe, not a great area. It's been running for about 5 years, and the kids would go there on a Tuesday from 6 till 8, their youth club. And back in May, sounds familiar to Penn School, all the children just before half-term closure came home with a letter. And the letter was from Bucks County Council, and it said that Bucks County Council had decided, along with Thames Valley Police, on a risk assessment that they could not keep the children, the parents or the staff safe, and therefore we're closing the youth club. Now, I petitioned Steve Baker at that time and met with his assistant Tim and was told to refer elsewhere.
Steve Baker's assistant seems to be very, very busy dealing with stuff that, I don't know, maybe Steve Baker should be dealing with. I don't know.
And that was when I said, because question time was coming to High Wycombe, and I said I'm going to raise it as a question with question time. Because to me, and this I think it's linked to Penn School and Bucks County Council's view on these children, because to take a risk assessment that they couldn't keep our children safe, and the problem was that the car park, and so the local youths go in there in their cars, there's a lot of them, and they're clearly doing drugs. But they hadn't touched our kids. We just went through, the kids are behind locked doors, we picked the children up. And if Bucks County Council considered that was a safe environment for special needs children, who were, the residential ones were bussed in and the other ones went independently. But that particular Tuesday night, 47 children were given a letter, which they didn't really understand. And David Cameron was on the Radio 4 in May, along with Theresa May, saying that we should not be passively indifferent to what's going on in our neighbourhood. And yet the police and Bucks County Council closed a special needs youth club, which had been going for 5 years for all these special kids, so that the local youths could sit in their cars and sell drugs, etc., etc.
Here's the obvious question, Sheila. If the police knew that there were young people doing drugs in cars in a car park, why didn't they go and arrest them?
Yes. So all of that. But equally, I was at the meeting last night, and I raised lots of questions for Mary, none of Mary Ness-Richardson, the headmistress, none of which were answered, including that in terms of Ofsted going into the school in the first place, none of these children tick a box for Ofsted.
No, it's the Ofsted tests are kind of based on the kind of learning development and things like that. And this school, while it does that, that's kind of not the key function of it. There is more to it.
But also with Ofsted, I said to Mary, I can't understand why you're still here, Mary, because what happens with Ofsted is that they clear the management. When they go in and a school is in special measures, they clear the management because they have failed. And yet Mary was kept in post all of this time. Maybe it was because she was a caretaker, because they didn't want to spend any new money, get a new head in that was going to do something for the school, but that she's been caretaking it for this.
Was the headmistress at the meeting last night?
She, for the first time, she came to the meeting last night, but didn't ask any of the questions. Also, why is she still in situ is very unusual.
They knew at least a year ago that the school was in financial trouble.
And before that, because they were made, ICANN, which is a charity, and they run an astounding school in Meath, one of these places. They're a special needs school, they're a charity. They were very interested. 2 years ago, the trustees refused. Waitrose in Beaconsfield, they made Penn School their charity of the year in 2014. And I have a letter from Waitrose which said that during the last year, Penn School has refused from John Lewis painting and decorating of their school. They also refused poaching from their children.
Sheila,
for the children.
Sheila, I have to move on because I've got business and stuff to do here. But have you still got a copy of that letter?
I do indeed.
I would love to see that letter. Can I pass you back to Catherine, my producer, and she'll let you know how you can get in touch with that? Because if the trustees or whoever of a school...
lots and lots. Believe me,
Sheila,
it's a list.
I'm going to pass you back to Catherine, because if the trustees of a school is in financial trouble, is turning down offers of free stuff like that, then that is just incredible, isn't it? Sheila, I really appreciate your call. We're not letting this story... I'm going to speak to Yakub after the news, who's a teacher who works there. We're not letting this go. Don't worry. We have... Dealey's got his J-Dog teeth sunk into this, so there's no way we could let it go, even if we wanted to. But really? They turned down an offer like that from Waitrose?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 anti-clockwise, just one lane open after an accident between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23 for the A1M at South Mims. It's busy from Waltham Abbey, junction 26. The North Circular has long delays westbound from Charlie Brown's interchange in Woodford to Bounds Green. It's all the way through Walthamstow, Chingford and Edmonton. There was a breakdown earlier in Walthamstow, now an accident after the Clockhouse junction in Bounds Green causing those problems. The A1 going south, queuing between Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. The A1M going south, slow past Stevenage, junction 8 to 7. And the M1 heading south, looking very slow this morning on the speed sensors between junction 15 for Northampton and Newport Pagnell services. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
With the headlines, I'm Simon Oxley. Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. A second man arrested in the town and a man arrested in Letchworth both remain in custody. And 32-year-old Michelle Higgins from Hemel Hempstead, who went missing nearly a week ago suffering from postnatal depression, has been found safe and well in Cambridgeshire.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Zach Johnson won the Open Golf Championship after beating Mark Leishman and Louis Oosthuizen in a playoff at St Andrews last night. All three were tied on 15 under par, but Johnson prevailed in the deciding 4 holes to clinch his second major title.
I feel blessed to be the champion. I feel honoured to be a part of this history of this game. And, to don my name on that trophy, especially with the names before me, is humbling and surreal, the 2 words that come to my mind.
Milton Keynes Dons manager Carl Robinson and his assistant Richie Barker have signed new contracts at Stadium MK. This season will be Robinson's 6th in charge. He's currently English football's 3rd longest serving boss. Meanwhile, a young Dons side lost 2-1 at Chesham last night. The first team squad travel to Mansfield this evening, with Robinson hoping to add more permanent and loan signings.
I'll be very disappointed if I don't make 3 signings in between. Minimum of 3 signings in between now and the start of the season. But I'd like to make one of our own signings. That's important for the future of the football club as well. That we have our own players that we start developing ourselves, because we've done it for many years now with other people's players. We hope we can bring one more of them in and bring some of our own to sort of support what we're trying to do.
Luton won 5-2 at Gosport last night, with new signing Josh McCoyd scoring twice. Danny Green, Cameron McGeehan with a penalty and Zane Banton were also on target. The Hatters again included trialist striker Craig McHale-Smith. Meanwhile, striker Lee Angle has joined Peterborough for an undisclosed fee. The 20-year-old never played for Luton but scored 25 goals on loan at Boreham Wood last season and turned down a new contract at Kenilworth Road. Elsewhere tonight, Wickham go to Wealdstone. Stevenage play 2 45-minute friendlies against local sides in Spain. England's women cricketers begin their defence of the Ashes today with a one-day international against Australia in Taunton, and Chris Froome maintained his lead of over 3 minutes after yesterday's 16th stage of the Tour de France. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Why would the trustees of a school turn down an offer of free stuff? We're going to get theories are starting to come forward. Things that can't be true are being put forward as possibilities. Why would you turn down free stuff from Waitrose? You must have a good reason. So I would love to hear it. 03459 455 555. The team will give you another call after the show today, again to extend the invitation to come on. We need you to come on, because this is just it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? Earlier on, we had a phone call from Jakub, who is a teacher at Penn School. It was a terrible, terrible line. I don't think the line is great again, but we're going to try again. Jakub, if you turn your radio off, mate, thanks for coming back on. I appreciate your patience.
Thank you, Ian.
You're a teacher at the school. When did you find out the school was closing?
July the 7th, about 4 o'clock.
And what did you get one of those emails, or was it different for the staff?
No, it was quite a bit of a scary meeting. We got said, there's a meeting in the hall about 4:30, with the line of chairs at the front, and we got made to sit at the back, and then all these people walked in, and the trustees just sat there with their arms folded, and the administrator read out the bad news.
So the trustees sat at the front. Did the trustees say anything?
Absolutely nothing.
Did you have any inkling that this was coming?
Me personally, I did, because I've got a background, in business and ICT, so I've taught, I could see what was going to happen, but I never thought it would happen. But we weren't given any warnings about this at all. I got called into this meeting and said, boom, you're out of a job in 2.5 weeks.
How did that make you feel?
Well, me personally, I'd already found a job by then, because I wasn't going to take any risks having a young family. But the staff in the room, they were just like, it was just shocked, devastated, speechless. No warning whatsoever, even to myself, because.
And was there any mention of, so you're going to lose your job in 2.5 weeks? Did they say anything like, but there may be a chance we could turn this around? Was there any kind of optimistic outlook?
They did entertain the idea, but they said, look, it's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, somebody might walk in, but don't keep your hopes up, because there's no white knight in shining armour. So they did say that was a possibility, inverted commas, but they said, we don't think it's going to happen. No.
The headmistress, we know, knew as early as June the 5th. She told Steve Baker, the local MP, in confidence. That's why he didn't tell anybody. She probably knew, she may have known before that. What do you think about that, Jakub, that she knew a month before you and the parents did?
On the one hand, I'm not surprised. On the other hand, it's I'm lost for words, because you say June the 5th, and on June the 15th, they started a redundancy process, which kind of made me leave in the first place, because what happened before they said we're going to shut the school down, they said we're making staff redundant. And that happened on June the 15th is when they officially started that. So if you're telling me that they already knew 10 days, 2 weeks before...
So hang on. So June the 5th, we know the headmistress knew, definitely. The local MP knew. You weren't told till July the 7th, but on June the 15th, they started a redundancy process for the teachers.
For all the staff, yeah. They said there's about... In total, including part-time and casual staff, there's about 100 people that work here, and they said from June the 15th we're going to start the redundancy process, where they have the 45-day consultation. So even then, the meetings we had with the trustees, and there was no mention at all that the school's going to shut down or is in serious danger of shutting down.
It just Kerry McLeish and Hugh Forsyth, two of the trustees, you need to come on and answer a lot of very serious questions now, because this is just getting murkier and murkier. Jakub, I'm going to let you go. Please keep in touch, and I hope you don't mind. We'll keep your number on file, and members of our team will call you, from time to time to check what's going on. If it's not appropriate, you can tell us, and we'll stop the course. Fascinating. If you've got a kid that goes to this school, this Penn School in High Wycombe, if you've heard any of the show today, the interview with Steve Baker or Jakub there, who just called in, 03459 455 555, one person whose son goes there is Ken Bruce. Ken joins me on the show now. Morning, Ken.
Morning, Ian.
Really nice to talk to you. I wish it were under happier circumstances. You've got a son that goes there. How old is your boy?
He's 13. He's been going there for 2 years, and we had quite a long fight to get him into Penn because, obviously, you have to go to tribunal and things like that. And we had a long and awkward and difficult fight to get him into Penn because we judged it was the very best place and really the only place that could help him with his communication difficulties.
We've got some people who are struggling to understand that this is more than just a school. Tell us why it's so important and how it's helped you and your family.
Well, each of the children there is an individual with an individual communication difficulty. Some children have hearing troubles. My son is autistic and he has dyspraxia, so he finds it difficult to speak. He can't really speak very much, and he finds it very difficult to type because of the dyspraxia. And so he has a particular form of communication in which he is assisted to type, just by the merest gentle support on his shoulder and things like that. But it gives him the confidence and enables him to work physically the pathways in his body to get the finger onto the keyboard. And that's what Penn unlocked in him. He wasn't able to do that at all before that. And at Penn, they took on and trained up people, and we were involved in the training as well, the staff, to support him in this. And really, it was the only place that would do this. We looked at several other schools, but Penn was the only place that would do it and do it properly. So we fought the tribunal and won it, and we got him in there to great relief 2 years ago. And now, suddenly, out of a clear blue sky, as far as we, the parents, are concerned, it's closing with really no explanation at all. And we've often wondered, why we were never asked before this to do any fundraising or anything like that. I mean, I could obviously do a bit of fundraising. Lots of other people have ways of raising funds, and ideas that were put up were never followed through, and we couldn't understand it.
Did you get that email that some of the other parents had told us? I think it was on a Wednesday night or something. An email popped up that said, "Yeah, the school's closing in a week and a half. Good luck."
That's right. It wasn't quite.
It wasn't quite as brutal.
Not in those terms, but yes, it was pretty final, and only at that amount of notice. We heard slightly earlier in the day through a rumour mill, and we phoned the local education authority, we're in Oxfordshire, and they said, well, we've just heard about it too, so we were frantically trying to find out more. So it came as a huge shock and a huge surprise, and it's not, any school closing suddenly is, very, very sad and almost a disaster. For the children there, it's particularly bad because they rely so much on that school. It's a real community. The staff are fantastic. And they all have an individual interest in each child. And it's a real family. And it's just such a I was at the school prize giving. The certificates of achievement were being given out last week, and I just thought it was so sad to see all these. And that's the children.
Thing; it isn't just about your kind of reading, writing, and arithmetic. This school is so much more to these kids and to the families, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's training them for their future lives. It offers residential as well. It's making them able to do as well as they can in society in the future. And to say, oh well, you'll find another school. It just doesn't work like that. The one school we've looked at is in South London, and that's one of the nearest we can find that will do anything like what Penn has done.
The parents found out recently. We know for a fact that the headmistress knew on June the 5th it was going to close. Over a year ago, the trustees knew the school was in trouble, yet they didn't seem to change anything. They didn't change the management. They didn't start doing fundraising drives or anything like that. It's left me scratching my head a bit, Ken.
I just don't know. I don't know what the trustees have been doing, basically, for the last 2 years. The school went into special measures 2 years ago, and alarm bells should have been ringing loudly and long at that point. And it seems they just thought, well, we'll do a couple of things and hope for the best. And obviously, that was never going to work. And 2 years in special measures. During that time, no children were being placed, or hardly any children were being placed there, because local education authorities won't place children in the school under special measures. So the school roll was going down, so their income was going down, and it was a vicious circle, which was always going to end in disaster unless they took real decisive action, which they failed to do, I'm afraid. For people to say, I believe Steve Baker was saying, he was told over a month ago, but couldn't see anything because it's a private concern. Well, it is a private concern, but it's a school, first and foremost, and it's funded by public money coming from the local education authorities. Every child there, I think every single child there, is paid for by a local education authority. So it's public money, and we all have a right to know what's been happening to it.
The trustees are reluctant, they're refusing to come on the show. Kerry McLeish and Hugh Forsyth, they sent a nice email saying, could you please confirm your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? I wish they would come on. If the school does close, worst case scenario, Kim, what will happen to you and your family and your son?
Well, it's very unlikely we'll have a place by September, so we will have to homeschool him for some time. We don't know how long. He's very upset about this, as I think every single child there is. I mean, they all have some communication difficulties of some kind. They like regularity in their lives. They like predictability in their lives. And for this to happen, a place where they felt comfortable and secure, it's just appalling for them.
I really appreciate talking to you, your time this morning, Ken, and maybe we'll speak about this at some point in the future, and let's see what happens.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ian.
Thank you very much indeed. Ken Bruce there, parent of a young lad that goes to the school. Oh, do you know what? I'm getting shivers because it is, I've got two kids who are fortunately healthy and well at the moment. And, I know how important the school development is for them. But this is so much more than just a school. And I think Ken and I think Yacoub and I think all the other parents we've had on, hopefully, have communicated how important this place is to these kids. Oh, man, depressing, isn't it? 03459 455 555. BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the northbound M1, there's a lane closed for emergency repairs between junction 14 for Milton Keynes and 15 for Northampton. The M25 anti-clockwise, still just one lane open, very long delays because of an accident with two lorries between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23 for the A1M at South Mims. It's busy from Waltham Abbey. On the M25 anti-clockwise, you'll find that's heavy from junction 17 at Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. The A1M coming south, slow around the Stevenage junctions, 8 to 7. On the North Circular, it's heavier than normal, queuing westbound from Charlie Brown's interchange at Woodford all the way to Bounds Green and Arnos Grove after an accident after the Clockhouse interchange in Bounds Green. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. We just had an executive meeting. I think it would be a nice idea, Catherine, if we do the podcast on the Friday, which is generally full of nonsense with a bit of serious stuff, and every time we've had a guest on, I said, put that in the podcast. I think we should do a special Penn School podcast to go out maybe tomorrow or Thursday with a bit of Steve Baker, a bit of Ken Bruce, a bit of Yacoub, some of the mum with Georgina, I think some of the mums we've had on.
If the trustees are listening, you've got 12 minutes, you could be part of it too.
The podcast, will go out tomorrow, so you've got 12 minutes or you've got the 3 hours tomorrow. Guys, you really need to come on. You really need to come on here, otherwise it's going to be very one-sided and we'll be accused of bias and all of this stuff. Well, we want you to come on. I don't fancy doing the news. I'm in a really weird mood. Let's just go straight to the weather, shall we?
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. Well, we've got plenty of sunny spells around today, a bit more cloud bubbling up in the afternoon, but it does look like it should stay dry. A few showers to the west of us may just work their way in, but for many of us it will be a dry day with highs of 24 degrees Celsius. Tonight, staying dry with clear spells and lows of 13 degrees. A cloudier day tomorrow, though. Some showers for some of us, and it could be a little on the heavy side at times. There will be the odd glimpse of sunshine, though, with temperatures reaching 22 degrees Celsius. Those showers should start to clear in the mid to late afternoon. Thursday's looking quite quiet with 1 or 2 showers and a bit of uncertainty around Friday's weather. A risk of cloud and rain that would probably be later on in the day for us, clearing on Saturday morning, leaving just a couple of showers, but certainly a better day generally with just a brisk wind. That's your latest forecast.
Every weekday morning.
One partially closed and the others didn't operate at all.
I have contacted other companies who do it professionally, and they said it should have been anchored down.
The JVS Show.
It was looked over by the garage and they told me do not move the vehicle anywhere. It's a complete death trap.
The JVS Show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
I'm getting nowhere. I've tried on numerous occasions to talk to the manager of this company.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
So they said, we're going to contact the customer, we're going to have a chat, and we're going to make a gesture to that customer.
And we could do the same for you.
Without your programme, I don't know what you'd do in the morning.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Another Sheila. 2 Sheilas in a row. We need one more, otherwise it's bad luck. Morning, Sheila.
Good morning.
Sheila, what would you like to say?
I have a nephew who's got cerebral palsy and Down syndrome.
Yep.
And he obviously needed special schooling.
Yep.
And he got into a school on the other side of Farnborough, which meant that his parents at the weekends, because he boarded, had to go from Hertfordshire to Farnborough area at the weekends.
Yep.
And obviously, as time went on, he had to leave. I think he was only allowed to be there for 3 years to help with various life things, you know what I mean? But looking on the other hand, if I had a child who I decided I wasn't going to send them to school, the government would come down on me like a ton of bricks, wouldn't they? And start wanting to put me in jail and fine me because I wasn't sending my child to school.
It depends. If you were home tutoring, then you'd be okay.
So we're not home tutoring. I've decided I'm not. So these children who need specialised schooling, as such, they are then being refused schooling, which the government says you have to have.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So therefore, why the government should turn around and say to themselves, right, we've got to sort this out.
Well, what I imagine will happen, what I make up will happen is loads of these parents will be given recommendations to places by Bucks County Council. That's them fulfilling their obligations. But in the parents' eyes, those schools will be seen inappropriate because they are more mainstream schools that have got like a special class for those kids that that are a bit noisy and stuff. And they will be sidelined, and then their requirements will be ignored.
Or I should say, we would. Yeah, all right. There's a school over there. You can go to that. If you don't go to that, that's. Yeah.
We've done our part. We've recommended a school. Yes, it's 300 miles away, or yes, it doesn't meet the requirements that you need. But we've done our part. You've said no. That's your problem.
Yeah, but there is a big problem with special schools because when you think about it, there's a lot of journeying. There's a lot of trying to look after the children when they come home for holidays and stuff. It is not easy. It is not easy. And really and truthfully, the parents of anybody who's got a child with special needs often has to spend more time and money than the average parent does when they can send their child off down the road to a school and then meet them home at 4:30 or whatever.
Sheila, thank you very much. I'm moving because I just want to squeeze John in. Morning, John.
Good morning, sir.
John, what would you like to say?
It's just a weird way of looking at it. I mean, who owns the land that the school's on?
I don't know.
It's a charitable trust.
It's a charitable trust. So, I'm guessing that charitable trust owns the land. Do they? Is that how it would work?
I think it was left to them by the Disraeli family.
Right. Okay.
Is what we heard.
Go on. Sorry, John.
Is it available to be sold off cheap for development? Is that another way of looking at it? Someone's interested in having the land for other reasons?
It's a theory that has been put forward on Steve Baker MP's blog. Is a great read. Not necessarily the words he writes, but the comments underneath. And I suggest that maybe him, or he could probably ask his team to do it for him, should look at those comments because some of them are quite angry.
I wonder whether he's seen some of them.
And it was that was one of the points that was suggested on his blog, John. That maybe it could be. Some people have suggested yes that they could want this school to fail so that they can sell the land and make a load of money. I'm not saying that's the truth. I don't know. I'm sure that that's not the case at all. But some people are suggesting that on the internet. Yes.
Okay then.
John, thank you very much indeed. I wasn't telling you off. It sounded like I told him, oh, sorry, sir. I wasn't telling you off. Just saying, and also, John, I'm sure you can understand why I have to tread very, very carefully around accusations and things on the internet like that, because I don't want to libel the trust. I'm hoping that the trust have got the best interest of the school at heart. No, I'm hoping that the trust have got the best interest of the kids at heart. I don't, it would be nice to talk to either Kerry McLeish, who sent us this email, or Hugh Forsyth, who I called yesterday, and is CC'd into this email. Could you please confirm that your programme will not say anything negative or critical about any of the trustees? Right, we can't say that. But if you want to come on and put forward your point, Kerry McLeish or Hugh Forsyth, we would love you to. And do you know what? You kind of owe it. You owe it. Particularly as we're hearing from first Sheila 1, I'm going to call her, that Waitrose offered. What did she say the Waitrose offered?
I've got the email here where the manager of Waitrose is confirming it.
So, okay.
So here we are. Let me just Sorry.
Because Waitrose do this brilliant thing, and I'm assuming it's one of these, where you get your shopping, and depending on how much you spent, you get like a little green token, and they have 3 bins of 3 local charities, like a wildlife charity, the Penn School, and I don't know, a kids' football team, and you go, I'm gonna go for the wildlife charity, and you put your coin in there, and the number of coins means they get cash.
So here's the email from the local manager at the Waitrose store that we're talking about.
And who's this email to? Is this to the school or to Sheila?
This is in response to an inquiry from Sheila.
Okay, right.
So, as promised, details of how the branch has helped the school previously. 1. The school was the branch charity of the year 2014. 2. Branch met with the school to discuss fundraising and how we could best support the school in the coming years. 3. Organised a Call My Bluff charity evening, raised £400. 4. Offered to paint classrooms, brackets, offer not taken up. 5. We made cakes and supported the school fete for past and present pupils. 6. Supported the bonfire event. 7. The school were part of our Community Matters scheme last year, raised £368. And 8. The branch manager offered coaching to the team at the school, offer not taken up.
Why would the school that's run by a charitable trust that's got a board of trustees that is in financial trouble? What date was that letter sent? That email sent?
This email is from the 17th of July.
Of this year?
Friday the 17th.
Okay, so why would a school that was in financial trouble turn down free stuff from Waitrose? Waitrose, you know, that's a great brand, and you know it's going to be trustworthy and it's going to be decent. Why would they turn anything free down? It sounds like they accepted on some of the offers, and good for them, but why would they turn anything free down?
Well, they took the money. I'm looking at this. They took cash, but they didn't take services.
And also, why would Waitrose have a Call My Bluff evening? Sounds like a lot of fun. Raise £400, and then the school not do that? They've got Ken Bruce. Ken Bruce's son goes there. I'm not being funny. Ken Bruce is a big star. You've got Ken Bruce as one of the parents at your financially failing school. You milk Ken Bruce for all you can.
Well, he's obviously a joiner. He went to the prize ceremony.
He went to the prize. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he gave out a couple of prizes. I don't know, but he was saying, look, you know, I can raise a few quid. Of course he can. He's got profile. Why would you not at least say, you know, at least have that conversation? My mum's care home. They occasionally tap me up, say, would you come and do this? Would you come and do that? They've got opportunities to have fundraising, whether it's Ken Bruce or not, whether it's any of the other parents that wanted to raise funds. Why would you not do that? This doesn't make any sense to me at all.
If only we could speak to the people who have the answers.
Oh, man alive.
We'll try again.
We'll try again. I don't know who's on set up today, but we'll get in touch with Kerry McLeish and Hugh Forsyth, and we'll let them know that there's going to be a podcast that's going to go out tomorrow, 30, 40, 45 minutes, whatever it is, of bits of Steve Baker, bits of the mums we've had, bits of the dads we've had, bits of the teacher that we had, and we'll put it all out there, and they can do. Well, I'd
like to do more than just send her a link to it.
I hate ending the show on a downer. I really, it just makes me uncomfortable. So I'm going to try and find something to lighten the mood. Hang on a second, I can lighten the mood. Ah, yeah, we can end with this. Oh no, hang on a minute. Hang on a second. We're gonna this will lighten the mood.
Oonga, 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 shanga, oonga, oonga, oonga.
He does say that word, doesn't he?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The northbound M1 has a lane closed for emergency repairs between junction 14 for Milton Keynes and 15 for Northampton. Very long delays on the M25 anti-clockwise. Still just one lane open after an accident with some lorries between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23 for the A1M. It's busy from Waltham Abbey. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's queuing between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. Long delays too on the North Circular. It's heavier than normal all the way from the Charlie Brown's interchange towards Bounds Green after an accident after the Clockhouse Junction. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. Interesting text from Dot, and I don't know how this works because I'm just a man. Has anyone checked to see if anyone's applied for planning permission for the school site? If so, this could be the reason why everyone in charge appears to be sitting on their hands. I mean, and this is why we need the trustees to come on the show. Thank you.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Tuesday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In,
Do you think the Ashley Madison hackers have done a good thing? A dating website that helps married people cheat has been hit by hackers who've threatened to release information about millions of customers. Ashley Madison, which used the advertising slogan "Life is short, have an affair," said it had been attacked and some user data was stolen. The hackers have published some of the information already, and they say they'll publish more, including the names and details of the website users if the website is not shut down. Well, this morning I want to hear your reaction to this story. Do you think the Ashley Madison hackers have done a good thing? Pick up the phone, come on and have your say. Here's my telephone number. It's 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS Show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: parents meet administrators at Buckinghamshire School, man released after anti-terror arrest in Luton, a new contract for Milton Keynes Dons manager.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parents fighting the closure of Penn School near Wickham met with administrators last night and were told that 5 parties have expressed an interest in taking over. The special school will close for the summer tomorrow, with parents struggling to find places elsewhere for September. Administrators have set a deadline of July the 31st for an offer. Parent Amanda Burgess was at last night's meeting.
The administrators have said that there is still hope. There are 5 interested parties, which is what they've said at the main meeting, and that we shouldn't give up hope, but they don't want to give us false hope either, and they're hoping these 5 interested parties will be coming forward in the next few days.
A man arrested by anti-terror police in Luton last week has been released without charge. The man in his 30s was arrested at a residential address in the town last Tuesday. A man in his 20s held at another residential address in Luton, and a man in his 20s arrested at a business address in Letchworth. Both remain in custody. 48 Labour MPs defied their interim leader Harriet Harman last night and voted against the government's plans to cut the welfare budget